up, everyone? After some technical issues, we finally made it on the live stream.
Hi, everyone.
It's a Tuesday.
We did it.
And guess what?
We're here.
We have Eric O'Sullivan with us.
Hi, everybody. I'm an old-fashioned otaku. I'm happily, I'm going to call myself a blissful retro noob tonight. And hopefully y'all going to be suggesting some 21st century manga and anime to me, because I'm from the analog age.
Oh, well, I know there's one announcement you're going to be excited about.
Nice.
One announcement I know.
Sweet. I was preparing. I was watching Trigun, the old one.
Oh.
I forgot all about Needle Noggin. Oh, that just brought me back.
I like the old one better. I don't like the new series, but that's because I'm not really big on the computer animated stuff.
Oh, because this was, it was like so charming. It just brought me back, man. It was so great.
Oh. Yeah, I love Trigun. Hi, Laura.
Hey.
Thank you for being on. It's been a while.
It really has. I was thinking earlier, I was like, when's the last time I've been on? And I'm like, longer than a week ago, but it feels like it's only been like a week, but I think it's been like 3. But at least everybody has good health right now, so that is a win. So yes, that.
And key for the house, indeed.
Yes. And Eric's Nama stuff for me today. What's up, H Field? How are you doing?
Hello. Hello, everyone in the chat.
Crazy stuff today. Constantly going wrong. But we have some great stuff to talk about today.
Yes.
A little bit of stuff Eric is familiar with, and of course stuff I know Laura's familiar with. And the first thing we're going to talk about is something I know we all know a little bit about, and that would be Super Mario Brothers.
So
Super Mario Brothers. Sorry, dominating Japan again.
Indeed.
Man, did you see the pictures from when you can go see a special premiere video or whatever? And they had the coolest stuff. I was like, United States, you could learn a few things from Japan. I was like, we need that. I have never seen them have where you can meet, characters dressed up, not viewers coming, but
it's like Universal Studios gets all the anime stuff over there. Can we get some of that over here? Can we please?
My goodness. Elite. So it's up on Blu-ray, because I was just telling Eric a few minutes ago that I got an email from Amazon saying our pre-order of the DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, should be here next week. So
nice.
Yeah, really excited.
I'm ordering it.
Mm-hmm. I'm into physical media. So
yeah, I am too.
Yes,
I could be
too.
into it, yeah. Just to pick it up.
I use the Shonen Jump and the Viz Media to see if I like a series enough to buy it.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason I'm using the digital. Ooh, there's one we have to introduce Eric to. That is
what?
Doro Dodoro.
Ooh, I have a list. Actually, there's one anime. I'll ask you about it after we get off this subject. But I want to say something about this subject. I have not seen the Super Mario Brothers movie yet.
I haven't
me either.
My friend James Harris, AKA the Jinja Ninja. He's a guy, an American that's been living in Japan for 20 years, settled down as a wife and kid, and he is a really good artist. And he took his daughter to see Super Mario last week, and he was just gushing about it because it didn't have to be. It wasn't for. It was for Japanese kid audiences, so it wasn't subtitled, and it was so it was just strictly all in Japanese. And he said that kids just completely loved it. He was like, Bowser's singing voice in Japanese was almost better than Jack Black's, and that it just really it was very tight story-wise, culturally too. So it's good to hear something like it's just very solid, in both in Japan and over here in the States.
I will have to.
I don't know
because. I say I don't remember what Marvel movie it is, but somebody's like, I enjoy listening. They live here in the States, and they're like, I enjoy watching the Marvel movies in Japanese because they like the voice acting. And I found out some of the Haikyuu voice actors actually do some of them, and I said, I need to go watch. I'm just here for the voice acting. So I would be really curious to see like who was chosen. Not that I'm like pro at who's who, just more of my favorites than anybody. But that would be really interesting. That's just so cool, and that's another great thing about. I mean, I know Mario's not anime, but like like Eric was saying, that the cultural going, it's doing so well here in the U.S. and doing so well in Japan, and like I mean, I can imagine other places too. But just that it can. I don't know. I was going to finish that statement, but I just
well, it's like it's kind of I don't know. That's a good way. Mario is not anime, but
Right.
it is in a way because, like, I mean, I grew up. I'm not going to admit my ancient age to you young ladies, but what I will say is I had pocket change. And a quarter, like 2 quarters, could either get you a funny book off the spinner rack or 2 rounds of Donkey Kong. And
that's
that's
cool.
Mario. That was Mario's first. Then you had Mario Brothers, but you had the anime, illustration on the sides of the cabinet, and
Yeah.
so it always had like this anime friendliness and component to it.
Yeah.
And then you had the live action / animated series in the 80s with Lou. What's his name?
Captain Lou Albano.
As
It was
Mario.
insane. It was just that stuff was so funny. In a time where there were other kids variety shows as well, like Pee-wee's Playhouse, which was on CBS, and Pee-wee Herman, and like say like Chip and Pepper over on NBC, and that was like they were like the hosts of, of the kids variety show. They show they show cartoons, music, and then dopey skit stuff. And that was Fox. Fox was a new network, and they were putting out their own children's programming. Their thing was Mario. That was a huge thing for their Saturday morning.
Wow. I remember there was like Mario. You had Sonic.
And the live action movie itself, that was mind boggling. But if you see it in the lens of the time, comparing it to like the Tim Burton Batman, like The Shadow, you had all of these kind of just like serious attempts at like a kind of a darker thing, and I think that's what they were going for tonally in Super Mario Brothers with Leguizamo, Bob Hoskins, and Dennis Hopper. Yeah.
Oh, I remember sitting in the movie theater watching this, and my brother, because he leans over and he's just like, "This looks nothing like the video game."
Yeah, and it didn't have like much like of that joy to it, that joy to vivre. You know what I mean? It was just more of it was like serious.
Yeah, it was. I think they were thinking that the fan base had gotten older and they would want something older, but the fan base is like, no.
Yeah,
and that was 30 years ago too.
I know
the longevity of this IP. This is great.
And I think also that it goes in line with something like you and I are familiar with, Eric. It hasn't been tainted. I mean, yes, you had the Mario Brother movie that was bad.
Sure. But it was more of like, it was a kind of like it was really aloof because there wasn't really like, a continuity or a canon. There was just characters, events. There was a storyline to the game, and then there was a cartoon, and then there was this and that. So it was just this. I mean, was there a manga for this? There's definitely was.
Yeah, there is.
Probably,
there's the Super Mario. I can see the cover, but I don't know what the full title is. But we have it, and we also have it's the Super Mario Brothers. It's not manga size. It's a big yellow, or it's a taller, wider yellow kind of book, and we've had that one too.
Like a Shonen Jump, like phone book thick.
Yeah, both. Well, it's not that thick.
Okay. Both you know what I mean? Like you've seen a Shonen Jump, yeah?
Yeah. They're both published by Shonen Jump, though. The bummer part is my son didn't like the manga one because he did not like that you have to read it backwards.
Aww.
But he really
is his name Doc?
I know, he really liked
this. That's our friend from Saturday mornings. Doc, he hates. I hate manga because you got to read it backwards.
Yeah,
and he can't remember the names.
Too many names,
I didn't think Chris Pratt did a bad job. I mean, I've seen the trailers. I haven't watched the movie yet, but I don't think he was that
heard
bad.
Anything.
I think there's just like a hate thing out for I don't remember who Luigi was. Oh my god, now I have to look it up.
Anyone in the chat know who played Luigi? Because the chat knows all.
I think it was the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. What's his name?
Oh yeah, I know. Okay. Like, well, there's 3 of them, but okay.
The one who seems to be in movies all the time now. Let me see.
One of them was in Lost.
Was he? Which one?
You know you're lost. Oh my god, he was a
Charlie Day. It was Charlie Day. He was Luigi.
Charlie Day, but Ed McGillen, he was in Lost.
Oh, okay.
And he played he was in 2 episodes. He was a guard for the others. And he kept sort of in a cage or something like that. He got killed, it was one of them.
It was like there and gone.
Yeah, but he was in 2 episodes though. It was just like, wow, that must have been cool because you're on location in Hawaii, filming the show. That must have been great.
Poor Doc's brain can't handle remembering new names, says Vincent.
Oh, hey, Vincent Flanagan, how you doing, man? Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, awesome. That guy doesn't know his name.
I know. I imagine trying to balance the U.S. version with your Japanese version, and
yeah,
and then understanding the subtle differences in character. And
oh man, no.
It's like being a kid, and again, I'm aging myself, watching Voltron in the 80s, and then finding about the original anime it was.
Go Lion? Yeah.
Yeah, Go Lion, and they edited it to no one because it was ultra violent. And
yes. Seriously,
and actually died.
Yes. The Black Lion guy, not the Black Lion guy, but the guy in the
Red Lion.
Red Lion, yeah. He gets killed. No spoilers.
That's Blue Lion.
Okay.
He gets killed, and then his twin brother takes his place.
Yes, the twin brother thing. So exactly. It's
so my goodness. I've only seen Voltron Legendary Defender, but I never finished it because I was very salty about things that happened. I think it was season 5. I adored the first 2 seasons. Shiro, Space Dad, forever. I love his character. But I did not. They made changes not just to his character, but I just felt like in general to the whole vibe of the show. And I was just like,
I suffered from people demanding their headcanon become reality, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
But at least that was the one time I can say that I got really involved in a fandom. And I really, I went and followed the voice actors. I still love Jeremy Shada to this day. I think he is just doing such great things. But, it's surreal to think back on that. If I'm if Voltron, if you just wouldn't have gone on a path that I just didn't like. I was I didn't. I saw spoilers for the not the very end, because I guess there's an ending after the ending, but just the general vibe ending, and I'm took away some really cool characters.
Well, it was funny. You know who did the voice of I know him as Keith, but they went with his original Japanese name in Voltron Legendary Defenders, was Steven Yeun from Walking Dead.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn. And then one of the episodes, I'm sitting there watching, it was the first season where he meets that strange guy who was kind of they were trying to take the lions and rob him, and he thought they're being. I realized it was Norman Reedus' voice. I'm sitting there going, I know that voice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I forgot about that they mentioned that.
I was just watching some of the old '98 Trigun, preparing for the show, and I'm like, that's Johnny Young Bosch, isn't it? I forgot all about that. He was a Power Ranger.
Yeah, he was a Power Ranger, and now he's famous for almost a whole ton of voices in anime. He's still doing them.
Awesome. Hey, you know what? I went to Boston Fan Expo last year, and I'm going again this year. But let me tell you, the lines for the anime voice actors was just, they was impressive. And I'm really happy that all of these otakus came out and they're just really represented. And all of those, I'm they're American anime voice dub actors, and they're celebrities.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy part, they've been famous for a long time. I remember in the early 2000s, I was really into the animes, getting back into the manga, and I was at MegaCon in Florida, and Vic's line was he was doing Full Metal at the time.
Okay,
and it was just crazy. Like he had like the Babylon 5 people in a table like in front of him, like a row in front of him, and like none of their people could really get in line for them because everybody was just wrapping around for Vic. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, huh? So Super Mario, it's like at what, 1.4 billion?
Yes.
Holy Toledo.
I don't know if Spider-Verse came out there yet, but I know this. Yeah, it what was it? I think it beat out Little Mermaid, and then Frozen. You know what else was on here? Slam Dunk.
Uh-huh.
Slam Dunk was number 9.
Indeed.
Detective Conan. I didn't even know there was a movie, but then it's probably not out here yet.
Was that like Detective Pikachu or better?
I mean, it's been going at like 100 volumes, so it has to be good if it's still going.
It's been around for a while. It's about like a kid detective or a guy like was it?
Okay.
He becomes a kid.
Yeah. Nothing to do with the Barbarian. This is not a mashup between a
no.
By Crom, I will figure out this mystery. You know.
But yeah, Slam Dunk was in there. Like I think that made a lot of money too.
Nice. I'm so excited for that to come to the States. Never mind the fact that I haven't read the manga and I've only seen clips of the anime.
Everybody's telling me I should read it because I like Vagabond, which is another one I should get Eric to read if he likes samurai.
But that's so different than Slam Dunk. Like Slam Dunk has
the
fear, and Vagabond does not have
basketball
that.
Team. You know,
mm-hmm.
that's the most impressive thing about manga is like
there's something for everything.
There's a slice of things. There's something for everyone. Seriously, and it's just I'm a professional chef. I love just the amount of like there's cooking stuff, like people like in cooking like when Carrie, she was like, it was like Carrie and Yul Carter the same episode were like, check out Crazy Food Truck, Eric, please. And I'm like, okay, but it's resounding, you know what I mean, from 2 good sources. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. You know
what else you might like? I haven't read it, but everybody tells me to read it. Is Food Wars.
That's the other one that people tell me to read. Exactly. Yeah, that one too. Okay, that's on the list. Is it? It's going on the list. If you're not, yeah, I got a list.
I would say if you need a really chill food anime, campfire cooking with My Absurd Skill in Another World is really, really good. And every single time after he cooks, when you were talking about the beer earlier, he always pops a nice cold can of beer after every time.
Nice.
It is a wonderful, but I mean, it's really you gotta go with the Absurd Skill because that is part of it. That's a fun one though.
Vincent says he's reading a manga about a cat reborn into a world without cats in medieval times.
Okay, that just sounds interesting. What is the name of that?
Yeah, tell us the name, Vincent. Tell us the name.
Happy Asthmatics.
What's up, RC Scott?
That'd be me. Like, I love cats, but I'm so allergic to them.
H-Films, you are not alone. I have 2 friends that both love Haikyuu, but they hate when they play volleyball, and they actually one of them will skip the tournament. She's like, just get me to the bonding of them getting closer and working through things. But she's like, when we're getting down to the training arc, well, she likes the training arc, but like the tournaments and stuff, she's like, no, I'm not here for that. I'm like, that's some of the best though, but for me personally. But yeah, you're not the only one though. You're not the only one.
There's also one I know you don't like it, Laura, but I like Blue Lock. I was talking about it on Wes's show once, but the soccer. Yeah, I was talking about it with Drew and Kyle was like, that would be really interesting with quarterbacks.
Like, there's got to be hockey ones out there. I'm a huge hockey fan. There's got to be a hockey one, like ice hockey.
I
like
think
the same story, but with just different people.
Well, you know what, Blue Lock.
The whole 3rd season, no. I can't believe this, Elite. I can't believe this.
That story about a cat reincarnated in a different world where there are no cats. Is that from Seven Seas, Vince? Because that sounds like a Seven Seas title. There's an ongoing joke here. Seven Seas likes to do a paragraph for titles.
Well, is that a
like
trend?
A full paragraph.
Like reincarnated. Like, that's like a trend, isn't it?
It's a trend.
And Isekai, and yeah.
Yep.
There's even
reincarnated
like
as a
manhwa,
sword.
which is like manhwa has reincarnated as the villainess in a video game, and I don't really want to die. And
there's this one, and I was on Brandon the Anime Guy a couple of months ago, and he just got me really interested. I was like, forget though, if it's an anime or a manga. I don't think it's manga. I think it's
usually both. But go on.
Love After Armageddon. Is that it? It's like about the hero that falls in love
I know what you're talking about. That's the one with the girl who's the villain and the guy who's the hero, and they kind of like attracted to each other.
Yeah. And they're in love, and they got to keep it secret. And that's just so funny. I love melodrama.
Okay, the only one I know that's like that is Love After World Domination.
Yes, that's it. That's
it.
Okay.
It has there is a manga. My husband read it, but it's only digital though.
Okay.
So the final volume just came out or is going to be coming out.
Okay.
So now we're getting an idea what Eric likes. Let me know. We know what we can recommend.
I mean, it's something. It's
such a fun anime.
I like Escaflowne, something for boys and girls. You know what I mean? Something. Escaflowne was just a vision of Escaflowne is like a perfect anime, and in my humble opinion, and because it's got all the romance in there, but then it's got all the action.
Yeah.
And just and I had a serious girlfriend when we were watching it too, and it was just. Wasn't this the most wonderful anime? Because it was something for him and her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and hey, everyone out there in the chat, how you doing tonight?
And don't forget while you're here, go ahead, hit the like button, share,
smash that like button,
smash it. Yes. Well, speaking of manga, there's been like a whole ton of announcements. We had like a dry spell for a while, right, Laura?
I know.
Like there was like nothing for like the longest time, but I think because we're getting into con season.
I guess so, yeah. Because then there was like 12 of them, 14 of them just came all in 1 week.
I know. I was like, hello. We're gonna start with one we talked about before, Laura, but Eric, who happens to be a big fan of this property, is like, I was telling him about it earlier, is pretty excited because Dark Horse not only confirmed they are releasing the original Trigon in omnibus form, but they're also doing the sequel of Maximum in omnibus form. And by the way, everybody out there, it's still pre-ordering for $29 on Amazon.
Ooh,
that's a steal. Go for it.
I'll be like $50.
Because it's like $40 normally for like the Berserk one, so it's like. He's going for it. He's like,
Mizaki.
Yes.
Katsuragi.
It's going to be nice hardcovers. I cannot wait for that. I have pre-ordered the first one, but I'm waiting for Maximum to drop for pre-orders. I'm going to do that.
Nice.
And I was right. It's 7 C's. I knew it. 7 C's get licensed for English physicals. Who's the one who likes to put everything in digital gel? Is it 7 C's or is it Kodansha?
Kodansha. It's Kodansha. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'd rather have I'm interested in that Love After World Domination, but I'm more interested in a physical copy.
Yep.
Yes, I agree.
Yep.
And that's why I'm excited about the Trigon in like omnibus hardcover form.
Yeah.
I don't know what nice. I don't know because if there is actually a difference that you can notice, a palpable difference in art quality between manga or manhwa and Western comics, but I can note as soon as I figure out something's been completely drawn and inked on a digital, like on a tablet, because there are certain things my eye is just trying to see, like hatching, cross hatching.
Like,
oh yeah.
For example, I have right here True Beauty, which is a webtoon manhwa, and I think a lot of manhwa is webtoons originally.
Yeah.
You might have some exceptions, like The Breaker, which is another one I recommend for you, Eric.
Ooh.
Is more done in a manga style. It's all hand drawn. It's black and white. Mm-hmm. But the webtoon stuff is more like, I think a lot of it, and I wish Bianca was here because she could tell me for sure, a lot of it is more computer digital art.
Mm.
It seems that way.
But when it comes to manga, it's usually originally just black and white, and in the style of, because there usually is a lot of fine lines, speed lines, hyper details, or even clowny stuff. But
Right.
When it comes to an American manga, I mean, not American Western comics, it's like there's some weird thing with inking, like, or this digital inking where it's about a gradient and it's about shadow and it's about raising pixels. It's not about gravity. It's not. There's no texture to it.
It's like you could take a fight scene from One Punch Man manga where there's a lot of like line detail, like especially like that 2-page spread where like Saitama is fighting somebody, and there's like a lot of like dark lines just to kind of emphasize like the explosion and damage. Yeah. But then you look at something more like with Western comics, like Eric was pointing out, there's like a little bit more like with the computer digital line drawings and a lot more reliance of like the color to kind of bring out that scene.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because because if you're not reading it on a device, your device is backlit, so that means you don't have to worry about like your illumination in your room or the reflection off of the page, the whiteness of the page. I mean, there's just like certain like little things, but with like I'm reading Dragon Ball Super. Okay, I've been a Dragon Ball reader for about under 3 decades, and I can tell by this art that it could be drawn on a tablet, but it's the style. I mean, like just the hype, it's the lines, and it's about there's hatching, there's cross hatching, there's like the visual texture is remained, and just like I love it. I'm Team Vegeta. Yep.
Team Vegeta. And I think also like manhwa, because it's more digital, and I think they do a lot of it on computer, you don't have a lot of that detail. It's kind of very much more focused on the character than the background sometimes, because you'll have panels where they just have like the character and there's like nothing in the background, just kind of emphasize like that part where they're just kind of standing there lonely thinking about stuff. What did he say? If you're really good at digital art, you can get the gravity and detail, but I don't really think that's the popular style, especially Korean webtoons now.
Yeah, the only one, and Kitty Cat said heavy dark lines and shadowing gives stories a certain gritty aesthetic, which I love. I think the only manhwa that I know that has really done that really well is The Boxer. And it's very gritty, but I think it is the way it can convey things, like that sense of I'm trying to think of how to explain it. I can see the scene
power.
Yes,
like when he punches, like it emphasizes the strength behind his punch. It's
yeah, that one's done very
well. On the
well.
listener.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. I love that creator's work. Now I'm not going to try the Horizon. Everybody said it's a lot darker, and I said nope, I'm fine with The Boxer. But he's got a really unique art style, in my opinion, that just is so very gripping, because like it captures that aesthetic and those feelings in a different way that I feel like it's not very commonly seen, at least in my reading experience. I mean, I do read a lot of shoujo, so and not much shonen anymore, but yeah, The Horizon, I mean, it's so pretty, but everybody I heard that read it, I said, nope. I said, I'm gonna appreciate everybody, just appreciate their love for the story and stick with The Boxer. Like, no.
Well, yeah, The Boxer. I like The Boxer because I'm still not convinced the one character is the main character. I kind of think they're setting up different characters to be like the main character, which is another interesting thing I saw with that. Because when I did my review on it, you have the one character who's the arrogant. He thinks he's going to be the greatest boxer in the world. He's got all these coaches kind of propping him up. And then you have the quiet, shy, what's the point of fighting? But then you find out he's kind of like, okay, well, if I have to hit you, I will. And he's got this powerful punch. And this one coach sees him and decides he wants to make him a boxer. And then you have the good guy whose father was a boxer, who says you never hit anybody unless it's a last resort or you're in the ring.
Yeah.
And you see, and he was up against this arrogant kid, and he's trying to, because he was getting bullied by him, but he couldn't fight him back, but he didn't back down, and that was like the quality about him you liked. So it's kind of like they have all these different characters, like coming from all these different like scenarios, and it's kind of interesting to see who's going to be the boxer technically.
Yeah. Have you read the second volume?
I'm getting it this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I thought I thought really interesting. Okay, so typically I feel like with most sports series, you are getting most of them. Oh, and even I guess with Blue Lock, since what you and Mark have told me, it's really about team building and shaping your skills as a team. And there isn't necessarily like team building in the boxer. But what I thought interesting is with sports series, I feel like you're focusing more on the happy parts of them winning. You don't have a lot of losses. If there's a loss, they're going to come back stronger, bigger, and better. The boxer in the second volume I thought was interesting is it shows the really heart-wrenching side that sports in general, especially boxing, it's not all happy times. Because I will be honest, I almost dropped the second volume because I really like this character. He's my favorite kind, sports anime manga. And he got himself whooped really bad. And he's like, I just want to quit. And I was like, no. So I won't spoil what happens, but it did not have the same outcome like I was expecting for almost all of them. So, I really do agree with that, Moonbeams. There has been some really pivotal scenes and moments that have just really stuck with me, and I think that's why I've really enjoyed that, even though this last volume was a little bit more bloody. And I asked my husband, I was like, does this really happen? Is there this much blood that can happen on the mat like this? Because it was a lot. So, sorry if I got long-winded there with the boxer. That's just always a happy time to talk about that because I feel like it's sort of underrated.
It is, and I would love to see like an anime about it, but I know if we don't get an anime, we'll probably get a Korean drama because they like to adapt a lot of webtoons into Korean dramas.
Supposedly there was a leak that we are supposed to get a boxer anime. I haven't seen confirmed, but there was a supposed leak.
Oh, nice. Nice. So, Eric, are you pre-ordering those Triguns?
For me personally, no. I'm actually for Trigun. I'm a fan of the '98 anime because there were divergences with the manga, and the biggest story note that is the biggest divergence between the two. My favorite part of Trigun is Millie and Wolfwood's romance and relationship, which is omitted in the manga. They don't have that relationship.
Oh man.
But don't watch the new series. There's more changes.
I have no. To be honest, I have no interest. Yeah, like you were saying, it's computer assisted, and I mean, it was done right the first time, and I'm glad we've all memory hold, the Cowboy Bebop, that live action because that was done right the first time. How can you get better than that? I mean, it's cute that you wanted to adapt it. It looked great, I guess. I mean, but
it's like Laura and I are big One Piece fans, and we're both like nervous as hell for this Netflix live action.
Yeah, I've yet to dip my toe into Naruto, One Piece, One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, or Attack on Titan. I'm woefully behind on like the big five, and that might not even be the big five anymore. There must be like something else, to have even knocked them on, off the perch too.
I feel like it depends on who you talk to, because some people will say that Demon Slayer is like in the new big three.
Yeah, exactly. That's 6 because I go to cons and I love cosplayers, and I actually ask people, who are you? Like, I'm like the Demon Slayer guy. The blue and white checkers. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I've seen, and I'm bald, and people are like, oh, you should be the guy, the Airbender. With the arrow on his head. I'm like, that's actually a good idea for a cosplay. Thank you. But I have no idea where the character is.
Yeah.
But,
I'm like, cool though. That's a great kind of conversation. I think that's really cool.
I'm a boy. I like mecha stuff. I like mechs. I like Macross.
I know you like Gundam.
I like Gundam. It was funny because we were talking about hyper-violent, kids shows, and they wouldn't show Gundam in my market in the early '80s. And looking back on it, I don't know if you can see it over here, but I have a Sola Chogogan, a space battleship Yamato, and it's worth every penny. And that was a cartoon of mine when I was a kid. And but going back and seeing that now, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's like wholesale slaughter everywhere in that show. And like how that got through American censors was just, and then they didn't show Gundam for that same reason.
I think we got Robotech. That was the one we did get.
We got Robotech, and that was pretty. That had the same sense of wholesale destruction and slaughter in the background. You know what I mean? And a couple of major characters get killed here and there as well. I mean, I love Robotech. That was like, hello.
Yeah, I think the one then, what was it, USA Network, that no longer exists, had like an anime Saturday morning thing. And I remember sitting there watching Vampire Hunter D for the first time, and like they didn't edit it, and like my parents, like my mom's walking by, and she's like,
"What the hell are you watching?"
Because like I was like, this is like cool. She didn't know at the time my dad would take us to drive-in to watch Conan and like martial art movies, because he only had his free time on the weekend. So he was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go see a Disney movie, honey. We're gonna go watch the Conan marathon over at the drive-thru. Don't tell your mother. So it was like, it didn't bother me, but she was like, wait a minute, this is not even on a cable channel. What are you watching?
When I was in high school, that's when Akira came out. And that was the game changer, though.
Yeah, it was.
Seriously, visually, music, sound design. If I close my eyes, I still see the light trails off the back of those motorcycles in the cold open, you know, and dun. And you know what? That was like, we had that manga available. That was one of the first, like, I don't know if I'm describing it right, because it wasn't quite necessarily tankobon. It was more of like a bigger version, because those Akira books were huge. Because we didn't have tankobon back in the late 80s, because we were lucky to have Viz. Viz has been around for 40 years, and Viz, they released like My the Psychic Girl, Xenon, and Area 88. And I just ate that up. But they were releasing them Western style, like in like,
yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, you know what I mean, slivers. And but oh gosh, I mean, but Akira was kind of inaccessible in a way, because it was like this hype over detail. It was like really overwhelming to the eye. And then trying to, like, you know, get into the story after, like, you just watched the movie, you just watched an adaptation. Like, it was so hard to get into, like, Akira, the book. Wow.
Yeah, because there's a lot more going on in there than the movie. It's like, what was it? I remember the 90s, the big one was Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah,
I remember sitting in the theater with my brother, were like, this is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good story. It was okay, but it was like, I mean, I just, the Japanimation craze. Like, yeah.
It was the visual, like, aspect, watching her, that opening scene, just like leaping off the building and going right through the glass.
I always remember the fingers kind of like, you know, busting open to have like little, you know, was that it? It was like, it was like her fingers just opened up to have like mini fingers, so she can like access data quicker. Something like that. I forget. Let me know. The chat knows. Chat knows everything. Am I wrong? Was that Ghost in the Shell? Chat knows everything.
Scarring Western kids since the 90s. I don't know. I'm Gen X, so there was like a lot of crazy stuff, because there was a dark period in Disney where there was films that, like, my mom dragged us out of the Black Cauldron. Okay, so that stuff was not going to
I thought you were talking about like Little Mermaid and
oh, no. Like, I was like preteen for Little Mermaid. But
where's the mothers? There's no mothers around here. Why?
It's like
these hapless fathers.
Kids.
You know, I'm from Boston, so I drop my eyes. And, like, you know, where are the mothers? And why are these fathers so, like, henpecked? You know? Thank you.
This is true too. The 70s, they did have Speed Racer and Kimba the White Lion that everybody accuses Disney ripping the Lion King off of.
We had Gatchaman as well. It was repackaged.
Gatchaman.
It was repackaged to us as Battle of the Planets, and we only got about not even 2/3 of the show, and so there was no resolution.
You're like,
it was just shown to be like cartoon content, The content existed back then too.
It's like you go back in the 80s and 70s and watch some of those animes they chopped up, and you watched it now, you're like, why did I watch this? Oh, because I was like 5.
Yeah.
like He-Man had more of a story plot. What the heck happened here? And then you find out why, because they took out all the bad parts.
Yeah.
What's our next one? There's been a bunch. Let's get to the next one.
You have an agenda.
Have the Trigon. I have an agenda.
Yes. Check off those boxes, you.
I'm doing it. All right. So first up, this was announced. Who is publishing this, Laura? It says by.
What is this?
Tell me.
It's my direct. It's my direct message. Everyone knows who I am now. I'm just kidding.
Why did that pop up?
It was there.
I know. I was about to say they know who you are. Set in the near future of Hiroshima, where violent Yakuza gangs with supernatural powers roam the street, a young man seeks revenge with bullets and psychic powers for the brutal murder of his family.
Who's releasing this?
Maybe it's like an Outlaw Star prequel.
Yeah, it's like Hiroshima Gangsta, but it doesn't say if it's it's Viz or Kodansha. Oh wait, it says Shonen Magazine. Okay. I bet you it's Viz.
Oh, I was about to say I'm gonna put my money on Kodansha, and it's gonna be a digital only.
You know Kodansha, nothing. They won't until people like complain enough, then they'll release it.
Digital jail.
That sounds interesting. I want to see a little more about this before.
Yeah, Ninja Scroll is brutal.
Oh, Ninja Scroll is brutal.
Brutal. I mean, geez. Some of this, because the parents didn't know it, like, you want to rent a Japanese cartoon?
And they're thinking it's like G-rated.
Oh my God.
That's true, Ergo Kitty. I've heard that. Like, Canada had some other anime that we didn't get.
Yeah, you got like, what is it? Like, was it Ulysses 3000? It was this amazing European/Japanese like anime. It was like based upon the Odyssey by Homer, but it was a huge 80. This is an 80s one too, and it just I've only seen it a little bit, but it's like people from Europe are like, "Oh my God, Ulysses!" Like, oh, right. I know what you mean.
What do we have next?
I couldn't find anything about that manga, so I hope somebody releases it.
They were just kind of getting dropped this week, so I'm kind of hoping we get a little bit more.
Yeah.
Where are we? This is yours, Laura. This is that 15 minutes before we really date.
Aww.
I'm so excited. So I was actually, who was I talking to? I think her name is the Yaoi Corner, but like it's funny because we both shared about it, how we were both excited, but she's like, "Oh, it's a new shoujo," and I'm like, "Well, I looked it up. I'm like, it says it's a seinen, and apparently there's like 2 different versions of this where there's 2 different, but they're like demographic different. So one's going towards younger girls, and then guys. I don't know what age group we would say, but it sounded so cute. I was like, I'm all here for the childhood best friend, because I think when I was looking around, it's sort of like. There's rumor that everybody thinks they're dating, but they're not. And they're like, well, we don't really do anything to say we're not dating. And they're like, well, why don't we just start dating? And so I guess that's the whole thing. So I was like, I'm so excited. Like, give me my slice of life romance.
That does look cute, though.
It does in that cover. I'm like, it's just, I don't know. It gives me like, Skip and Loafer kind of vibes, where it has like that brightness and chillness, like different story for sure, I'm sure, but like I don't know, just sort of gives me that general vibe. I'm behind on Skip and Loafer, but that's really wholesome too.
Is that on Viz? I think it's on the Viz Media. I was gonna check that out.
No, that one's
more like
7. Is it 7 Seas?
Oh no, My Love Mix Up is the one I was reading.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed.
Really? I haven't read it. I've been on the fence. Like everybody says it's super cute, but I was like, I don't know. So the covers are super cute.
It just seemed kind of like
cute goes a long way. Come on, look at my executive producer. Cute has gotten him around for 30 years.
Pikachu!
Dude, it's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie.
All right. This next one I think Eric might like.
Okay.
I know I'm interested. This one is, where is it? It's actually a Korean manhwa, but it is called Barbarian Quest.
Ooh.
Who's this out by? Oh, Tapas.
Tapas. This is
It's
all
the
they have
Korean
on it.
Berserk. That's another one I haven't even touched. Berserk.
Or the Conan Barbarian.
I don't know if I want to touch it.
Oh, you should. You'd like it.
I've heard I've heard plenty of things about Berserk. Just and I'm desensitized enough to Japanese horror and nudity that like holy wow, there's a different level of horror and body horror, and it's a cultural thing, dude. It's like, don't even try to explain.
What was that? That one Nick and I were talking about that we watched. Like, I don't even know why I sat through it. It was about this one where people were just committing suicides, like, randomly.
Oh, gee.
And then you found out it was a kid's song.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, watching these people, like, a bunch of kids from, like, leaving school, and they're in their uniforms, holding hands on the side of the, like, subway, and then all of them just sleep in front while they're singing the song. I'm like,
oh my God.
Why watching? Okay, the art on this looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm about to go, if I can spell barbarian.
The art looks really good.
Okay, barbarian. What was it? Barbarian? What was it? Quest. Hey, Bo!
What's up, Bo? Miss you.
Yes.
It does look good.
What does it say on Tapas? It ain't June 7th. That's tomorrow. I was like, there's nothing on here.
I think they're just announcing it on June 7th. That's not its release date.
Them covers look really epic.
It says out June 7th. That's tomorrow. New comic book day.
So it might be on might be released digitally first, and then like either Yen Press or Eyes will suddenly be like, we've got the physical rights.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Looks good though.
Yeah, it does.
We all have a bahaha watch party and put on Midori Japanese horror be cray. So Eric, have you tried Junji Ito yet? Speaking of Japanese horror, Junji Ito is a mangaka who writes nothing but Japanese horror. And he has this one called Uzumaki, not to be confused with Naruto Uzumaki.
Okay.
And it's about this town where suddenly things start with the shape of spirals start causing horror, and it sounds dumb until you read it.
Oh my goodness.
He does like these strange things and makes it work. It's kind of like
like with the snails. Isn't Margo?
That's in Uzumaki.
Oh, okay.
Because of the shell.
Oh,
there's a guy who forces himself into a spiral.
Oh my goodness.
And it kind of just like takes over the entire town to the point they're isolated from everybody. Yes, Uzumaki is a trip, Vincent. Yeah, I think there's some anime, but some people say the anime is not good. They don't like the style.
Oh. I forgot there was an anime. Doesn't he have another one coming out too? Or is that the one?
I'm sure he does. He also does a lot of short stories.
No, he's got the one
right back.
with the kid in the coffin.
What's her name? Tomi. That's the one with the girl that terrorizes everybody.
Is that the girl that has like two faces? Like the one side she's like crying and the other side okay. Somebody told me I might like that one. And I was like, so I don't know. So I like the cover though. But I was like, I don't know about that one.
There was a live action Japanese horror film of that too.
Oh, okay.
Which I could see that working. Alright, so the next thing that was up was where is it? Did I just lose it?
Uh-oh.
I think I did lose it. What was it? Seven Seas is going to do audiobooks.
Oh yeah, the siren.
the new label Siren. I was like, that sounds interesting.
I have nothing against audiobooks, but I'm very much a visual learner. So I don't, unless I'm reading and listening, that's the only way I can do audio. But I feel like that would be a lot harder to do with manga than it would be like a novel. So.
True. I mean, as audiobooks go, I know it's not related to what we're talking about, but I am knee deep in my first read of the Witcher books, and they're so fun, and because they're lighthearted enough, and they're really gruesome, but like, I mean, I'm on the go. I like to, I like to read.
It's like, I like audiobooks, but a narrator makes it or breaks it for me.
Yeah. And
sometimes you can get
I
those
think I like my books illustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are all going to be the light novels, like they were saying. Was it Mushi Tenskin, Classroom of the Elite, and I forgot what else because
the Saint's magic power is omnipotent. I think that's the other one of them because they had 3. The only reason I remember that one because I told my husband he's really into isekai. I was like, you should go watch that. It's a josei. It'll be great. He's like, tell me why all the men look buff and look good.
Because they're their ideals and they're fantasies and it's fiction. Yeah, that's what fiction is.
Yeah, he's like, you can tell when it's more targeted towards women and when it's more targeted towards men. And I just thought it's so funny that he said that.
So, Bo agrees with you, Eric. He loves the Witcher audiobooks.
I just started the 7th, maybe the 6th book. I got 2 more to go. I just been ripping through them, and they're I got this for Mother's Day a couple of weeks ago. I got the boxed set of the big paperbacks for my mom, and I know she would love them because I grew up reading her books, Stephen King books, Clan of the Cave Bear, the Anne Rice vampire books, and Lasher, all that stuff. And I know that she would just really dig the hell out of these. I would never have suggested Ice and Fire to her because it's way too gruesome and way too victimizing. Yeah. But there's a lightheartedness that the Witcher books have that is not part of the Ice and Fire world that I really appreciate. It's well balanced. There's a lot of gruesome stuff going on, but it's got a lightheartedness that I just really, it made it good enough to give to my mom. Let's put it that way. Thank you.
There you go. I have them on audiobook. I have to start listening to them because, me and time.
Exactly.
But that's why I also do audiobooks because time.
Exactly. I listen to audiobooks at 1.25 speed, you know what I mean? So I can read it. You know what I mean? I can get these things. It put a dent in my stack of books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the audiobook version of Berserk must be a bit disappointing.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of things in there you can't.
Like, wait a second. Describe that severed torso on a spike.
My God.
Oh,
is that still going around on Twitter? I mean, it's been months.
That's just, it's going to get miles.
That's another thing. I just sit there and go, out of context, okay.
Context
Don't read the first 2 pages of volume 1. I don't think they're going to enjoy that. All right. Then, Laura, you found out about this. They, the Anime Expo in 2023, they've announced.
There's an Anime Boston convention every year. There really is.
We have one in Pittsburgh, too. I'm thinking about checking it out, but their prices are crazy.
Exactly. I mean, just... Oh gosh, I at least I'm going to 2 conventions this year, maybe 3.
Okay,
psyched about that.
That's awesome.
And I'm sure there's going to be some announcements also at New York Comic Con and San Diego.
There usually always is. Well,
I think Nick's going to San Diego.
I would say that's where I got so confused because I've seen most people talking about the San Diego, and then I've been seeing stuff for Anime Expo, but I don't know which one comes first, and I'm just like.
I think it's San Diego, then it's New York Comic Con, and then it's Anime Expo. That's what it was last year. I don't know if it's the same order.
pretty big then, because I just
Nerdygirl has some beautiful art. Even with the violence, it's really interesting. She's got her own unique style. It's a female too. You wouldn't even know that reading it. All right, so they have like a whole list. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Laura.
No, it's cool.
You
it's
better.
Cool.
I'm having a day. So we have a whole bunch of like
Laura, next time you have your husband put up some shelves and put some action figures behind you. If you're going to be on YouTube talking about comic books, you need some funny stuff behind you. Like
you need that haiku stuff right behind you.
I know.
We need the haiku.
I'm joking.
Yeah, my youngest still hasn't moved out of our bedroom. She doesn't sleep with us. We don't do co-sleeping. Nope. I was very adamant with it, but she hasn't moved out of there yet. She's not ready to go into her room. So that's why I always film out in my dining room, and it's very
traditional.
Yeah. So
that's okay.
It's not as exciting as y'all. So I love looking behind you guys when we're talking. Because I just think it's so cool.
I do all my filming usually when there's daylight. I open up my windows and you can really see everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I do a daily 3 p.m. US Eastern daily. We have a half an hour long show. But I shoot on Saturdays and Sundays. So I always make sure that people know, hey, pre-recorded live before a studio audience of my stuffed animals comes from our Boston studios. And then, but it's like, part of it was like having the bravery to get up to a half an hour worth of content, but also keep to a shoot schedule. It's like Saturdays and Sunday mornings are all about shooting content and then getting to my day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's working so far.
I should do that. I should do that.
Or get one of those standees of like haiku and
show notes.
I was just in my Rengoku one. I was like, I could put him up behind me.
I love Goku. Okay. Oh man, I love Dragon Ball. I was one time I was in Quebec City about 20 years ago, and on Saturday mornings up in front of the Frontenac Hotel, there's this beautiful chateau, and there's the river right there, and there was something called the Bouquiniste, and there's a second, it's used books and magazines, and I bought literally 15, of the French versions, the French Tankobon versions of Dragon Ball. And so just ran the spectrum between volumes 1 and 42, like over the whole thing. And they had all the bloodshed, all the cigarettes, all the nudity, all the dirty jokes, especially from Muten Roshi, which is the funniest part of the book. And I was just like, as a Dragon Ball fan, I was like, oh, what are we missing with it? Because Viz just started putting out the all the Dragon Balls. And which was great. They had Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, so they were going, 1 and 1, and but it was just what a good experience as being like an appreciate. I love anime. I love manga. I've grown up with it, and that was and such a huge Dragon Ball fan to be like to have access to like of course Goku's signet his thing was on the wrong side because it was a Western, turn page, but it was just like, oh wow, this thing's so bloody and so kind of violent. And there's Dr. Brief smoking a cigarette all the time. Bulma smoking a cigarette all the time. Stuff like that.
Like I'm watching the Dragon Ball Z, and they have with her smoking with a teenage, what's his name, Gohan. Using her like his
she's building the Saiyaman suit. Yeah.
That's like I agree with you. That's got to be like my favorite arc was Teenage Gohan.
Oh, I love that when he meets Fidel. Or in the Japanese.
I know it's you. All right. So what do we have for the schedule? So we have, I don't know what Manga Planet is. Is that like a Trigger Bandai film Kodansha.
So where is this happening?
New
Anime
York.
Expo? In New York.
Mm-hmm. It's usually in New York. Unless I'm wrong. Somebody correct me in the chat. Then you have Kodansha Animate International. Oh, that's the big anime store in Japan. Animate. J Novel Club, Kamiki, and that's on July 1st. And then you have you have High Dive, which is the new anime app where you can watch anime. Square Inc.'s manga, Yen Press. I am not going to say that last name because you're going to pronounce it all wrong, or we know what it's going to sound like.
It sounds like. I must say, what are you talking about?
And then she saw it. And then on the next day, you got Manga Publishing Roundtable, Dark Horse, which I'm sure they're going to be talking about the Trigon books, and I wonder what else they're going to drop, because from what I heard, they have a lot of licenses too. They have not yet released or published.
Supposedly they have a out-of-print shoujo that they've had, and they announced, like, if I'm thinking of the right company, but like they haven't done anything for like the past 2-3 years. So a lot of people, they said they still have the license for it. I can't remember the name of it. It has an R in it. They're witches and they make chocolate. Okay. It's not super cute. I'm holding out. I'm like, I want that to be physically printed eventually.
I have no idea who Production IG and Wit is unless they produce anime. Then you have Undead Unluck.
Oh, IG Wit. They did Production IG did Haikyuu. They've done a lot of sports. And Wit is the one that did Spy Family. Or part of the one that did Spy Family. I think that was a dual or double.
And then Viz Media. I'm sure they're gonna have some big announcements. They usually wait to Anime Expo to drop all their good stuff.
Yeah.
Azuki Manga. Then the next day we have Isn't that the app?
Yeah, I'm so bummed. They have so many good titles. And I went to they had a thing going, a live panel at some kind of online convention. And I was so bummed. I asked if they were considering doing paperbacks. And that was something they're not planning to
just stay in digital.
Yeah, and I was so bummed because I would love to see like Natsumi and Natsumi publish My Dear Detective. Like they've got so many good ones, and for them not to, I mean, I'm glad they're at least releasing them digitally on like Amazon, because I don't use the app as much as I thought I would, but they do have some titles like that they're going to digitally bring over to Amazon. So I'm like, I'll support you that way, but I'm like, please bring in a paperback. So
then July 3rd they have Atlas. I have no idea. Then Warner Brothers Japan and Wit Studios is going to make a new anime project announcement.
Can we pause right there? Have you heard the news that Warner Brothers is teaming up with Toei to do One Piece for Luffy's 5th gear? Did you hear about that?
Really?
No. Yes. No, my husband told me about it. He was like, yeah, he says they're going to do, because it's like, can you imagine that Looney Tunes Animaniacs style with One Piece, him being in Gear 5? And I said, oh my goodness, I said it works. I was like, I never would think it worked, but I'm wondering if that's going to be like the official announcement. I don't know where he found this source.
I don't know.
But, and I didn't even know that Warner Brother did anime, but he watched an anime the other day and it opened up with the Warner Brothers logo. And I was like, this feels weird.
Was it Batman Ninja?
No, it was some kind of isekai.
I know Batman Ninja was that was one. And then there was also they did the live action Bleach.
Really?
They did, I think, the live action Death Note Japanese movies.
2 more for the list I gotta get to. A buddy of mine burnt me about 15 years ago. A buddy of mine burnt me a DVD-ROM of Bleach. He was like, "You gotta watch this." I still have it as like it's like a bookmark or something.
They just dropped this past year. They finally started the last arc, which is the 1,000-Year Blood War. And I think, and it's on here because they're probably going to talk about the second half of that. I don't know who 11 Arts is. I'm not familiar with them. And then you have Denpa.
Oh, yeah.
They do a lot of manga, but they take forever between volumes. I'm like, is Under Ninja Volume 2 out yet? That's my only complaint with Denpa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Then you have Manga Plaza and Solmar. Nor Caesar. I don't know. I have to look up Anime News Network. I know who they are. They just cover everything. Atlas again. Laura, look up what Atlas is.
Okay. Okay.
I noticed, unless the Bleach is like, because they usually will have like anime premieres at this. I don't see anything on here unless they're talking about like maybe the Bleach and this Love by Love on July 4th.
Looks like they do Persona.
Oh, okay. The game.
Yeah, and Soul Hacker. Yeah, they're showing a lot of Persona on their website, so they must do something with games. I thought interesting. This one didn't show like anime. I should have like sent it over. But like one of the anime websites came out and showed a bunch of individual panels. Like I know it's not that, but what's the Harry Potter meets One Punch Man anime? Mashal.
Oh, Mashal.
Yeah, they're gonna do like a Mashal panel. There's gonna be a Loving Yamada panel. There's gonna be Twisted Wonderland. So excited! Sorry, that's not necessarily.
That's the Disney one, right?
It's got manga and an anime. If it would just hurry up and get in the States, I'm like Disney, I will come back for Twisted Wonderland. Like you got my money, just bring it over. Bring it on over.
Don't ruin it.
Oh my gosh, they better not. I'm like, you can't screw this up, Disney. Like you just. Like, don't.
Have you seen the MCU lately? That anything's possible.
So I'm so behind. Once me and my husband started watching anime, we fell off the MCU.
You're not missing anything. If you stopped at Endgame, you have not really missed anything except Spider-Man Far From Home.
Have you and your husband watched Escaflowne yet together?
I haven't even heard of that one. So
A Vision of Escaflowne, late 90s, and there's an adaptation movie too that makes kind of complete no sense to like you just adapted the 13 plus hours of this wonderful 26 issue episode anime into a 90-minute movie, and it kind of works. It's really impressive.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, it is good. I remember it.
Escaflowne is great for boys and girls. Seriously.
H Field, I saw it. Yes, we are claiming it. I'm like, we got the Ice Guidance Cool Female Colleague. We can get Loving Yamada. I'm like, come on now. I'm like, Loving Yamada is getting all this traction. I'm like, don't mess this up, publishers. Let's take it home. Let's bring it. Let's bring it over.
We need more physical stuff. We need more physical stuff. We do. But you know what I think is going to happen with Viz, though? They're going to really push the Viz Media app and Shonen because of the price hikes on the physical copy stuff.
This could make my day if they could just bring over the Haikyuu light novels and the Haikyuu spinoff. I'm like, look, if we follow Viz's patterns, I'm like, we have Spy Family and everything else with Spy Family.
I'm still waiting for my One Piece Law light novel.
Yes. I don't understand. Like, I don't
That one should have been out.
Thank you. I'm like, One Piece is one of your biggest sellers, and like, why do you have all of these other ones? But you don't have this, like, so... I'm looking.
Laura, I dropped the link for the IMDb for A Vision of Escaflowne for you, and it's please check it out if you can. It's really I really think it's the best anime for couples.
Okay.
There's something about it.
I'm gonna bookmark it right now so I don't forget.
Cool, and I hope you catch the movie after you watch it too, because it's like. What an adaptation. Because sometimes these anime movies just don't make sense to the series.
Yeah.
It's like the One Piece movies, except for Red, I think is the only one that's
God. I want to say, because Carrie and I have talked a few times about Gundam 00, which is like my favorite Gundam series.
Mm-hmm.
And its feature release movie was literally its season 3. It was the third act and closed the story. And I was just so impressed. I was like, this movie was a continuation of the series. It wasn't just some adaptation and just some free form like adventure. Because I grew up on like Star Blazer movies that made no sense. Yamato movies. These Yamato movies sometimes killed everybody. and it made no sense to the continuity, but it's just an adventure. Same with Macross. Macross had this wonderful movie called Do You Remember Love 1984, and it's the same thing. It's the compression and adaptation of the 26 episodes, the 13 hours into a 2-hour story, and it's so impressive. I'm a huge Macross fan anyway, but like that was my first taste of like, hey, why is this so effing different than the series? And that's a cultural thing. It's the Japanese thing, man.
Exactly. It's like it exists, but it's not in the same continuity. It's just like another timeline or something.
Yeah.
You know what I heard is a good Gundam? I know the manga is out now, but I haven't seen it. I think it's a movie. Is Gundam Thunderbolt?
Okay.
Which is much more like grittier version, because they show like the people like really getting wounded and everything in like these battles in the Gundam.
Oh, some of the best death scenes you see in Gundam are like the pilot getting crushed from like, because if you're crushing the suit, what's happening to the pilot inside the chest? Yeah. I mean, it's just they have the most gruesome death scenes in Gundam. Oh man.
Have you seen, was it Gundam Mercury Witch? That's the newest.
No, I haven't yet.
I have not, and I've heard mixed things, so I have not.
Yeah, no. Look, I only watched the prequel, and I will never look at the birthday song ever the same again. I said that's all I needed because I like Gundam, but I hate crying when I'm watching stuff. I'm a very happy viewer. Okay, that's what I like. But I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. And I was like, you wrecked me already in the prequel. I'm doomed for the main series, and I haven't been back. But my husband really enjoyed it, but he hated the cliffhanger that it left.
I liked Orphan, and I liked Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny. And a long time ago, Wing.
I like Wing, yeah.
I miss almost all of Blood Iron Orphans, but I came in at the last scene, what happens to the main guy. And I was like, at any moment I came and watched it, this is what I saw. I would have been so salty about that. I was like, Laura, why? And it happens to me all the time when my husband watches Gundam. So I did like what's the first Gundam with Amuro? I did like Amuro.
I bought those movies. I bought the 3 movies set. It's an edit of the series into like 3 feature movies, and that's how I know the original Gundam. It was affordable too on Amazon. I got it for about $60.
That's what happened with us too, and I think we've actually bought ours on Macari because we were watching it somewhere online, and then my husband and I really were enjoying it. But I don't know. I don't know why we haven't finished it. We got about halfway though. But yeah, I really enjoyed that.
It's interesting, and it's just there was just so much wholesale slaughter in the background. I mean, there are innocent civilians and military getting offed, and just like, here comes your beam. You just killed hundreds of people
for real
in space, and it's just like, oh my goodness.
I have to agree with Ergo Kitty, because I think like if you go back to stuff like the older Gundams, like
Fist of the North Star. I mean, that was
the North Star.
Like gory. Fist of the North Star was like unexpected when I saw it. Like, oh my god, this is so gory.
Yeah, I think you can still get body horror with Junji Ito though. Junji Ito with his stuff is good. Then there's some stuff where I'm just kind of like, I don't understand where we went with this. Like that one I read, Black Paradox. I'm sitting there going, yeah, no. But I think there is some stuff that's tamer now in modern anime compared to what Eric and I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Ghost in the Shell, like the newer Ghost in the Shell, I don't even like them. A lot of them are like it's much more tamer, and they do a lot more computer animation.
Yeah.
Another good example
is distraction too, because it's not seamless.
Yeah.
And because the thing about anime was it was seamless, because it was about animation and about animation cells and about showing off this level of cartoon that it just transcends cartoon. and that's just so. When there's too much computer assisted stuff, it just takes you out of it really quickly. It really, because there's no visual tactility. It's not. There's no cohesiveness, and it looks just as bad as a Fast and Furious movie. Sorry.
Doc is coming in the comment now. No.
I mean,
like it's like I did a video like a year ago where I was recommending like manga for people who like Western comics and are trying to get into manga. And one of them was the newest Ultraman, where it was a great passing of the torch story. The art in it is beautiful. It is like a great superhero story. The father is older now and he can't be Ultraman, so his son has inherited the power and he's kind of mentoring the son into this. But then they did like a anime on Netflix, but it was all that computer animation and like looking at the characters moving very robotically. It was like my same problem with the new Trigun. Like I'm looking at it going, I can't. It's like it takes away from what you see in the manga, and then you look at that. It's not the same.
Point? It was already done perfectly that first time. I mean, like I was just like I said, just watched 2 episodes of that. It was like, oh, this covers a lot of ground because it's hyper detailed, and then Vash just goes into the anime standard emotion, over the topness stuff, the cutesy stuff. I don't mean to say it like that, but the eyes, the smile, and it's just he's so over the top when it comes to the emotional conventions. The conventions, just like the shorthand, the visual shorthand of like things that you take, like that we all know, like. Just there's a whole list of them, drop, sick, we all know the shorthand, but Vash is like the only character really that just like over the top just shows that off. But the rest of it, hyper violent, hyper detailed, just, I like that.
It felt more like a Disney Pixar. Like a cheaper Disney Pixar. And the other thing that upset me is because knowing the original Trigun, he had that dual personality where he was like the goofy, oh no, this can't be the guy with that big bounty.
Serious like that.
Yeah. He doesn't really do that in the new one. Like suddenly he'll be like shooting, but there's not that like dual personality. It's kind of like he just gets a little bit serious, but then when people are looking at him, he goes right back into the goofy, but there's not that drastic difference. And that was another thing I didn't like about the new anime.
Like, I just watched one where it had so much pathos because he's looking around, he's like, I know all these people and I got them killed, and he's crying. And that's it. And then you see millions of knives in the back and you're crying. Just like, ooh. It's because it's like it was like episodes 21 and 22, so it's like right near the end. And I'm like, oh, this is good shit.
And that's what's so missing from the new one. You don't have like that because it's also before he does that big mistake that I don't want to spoil for people who never read Trigun. So you're starting off at a point you're not even like in the manga or the original anime. You're kind of like, and then you realize, oh wait, he hasn't done that yet. And then they bring in the girl, I forgot her name,
Meryl.
Yeah, and she's Meryl not an insurance.
She's not from the Bernatelli insurance company.
She's a reporter. She's like a Lois Lane, and I'm like, and then she's got a guy who's like her older mentor at the, and I'm like, you changed that.
I like Millie.
Yes, they don't have Millie.
I have a crush on Millie. I'll admit that. I crush on many anime girls. I mean, we didn't have the vocabulary for it back in the day about waifu. I don't have a waifu pillow. Pika would get jealous. I don't want to get into that.
It was like Nick with your waifu pillow.
Oh yeah.
Man,
he was like so proud of buying that. Which one is this now? H-Field?
I have not. If that's body horror, I have not, unfortunately.
She's not going to read that.
Well, I won't.
She's not going to read Berserk either.
No. When I see pictures like I saw from that, I don't know who that artist was. I sent you the One Piece one that had all of the different scenes in it. But there was a Berserk one, and I sent that one to Nick. So I'm like, if I see Berserk, I'll send it to Nick's way. But that's about all I got.
I'm sorry, Ergo, what did I miss in the first part of this?
for the Disney Pixar that's a good burn.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like there's even parts where it feels like you're looking at a Disney animated like film, and it's like very much more toned down compared to what like we're used to with the original anime, because he goes ultra violent. He almost goes like Deadpool level of ultra violent.
Really?
In the new one?
No.
Like when he would be like with the twin.
I've never read Trigun or know much about it, so
I'm probably going based more.
It's 30 years old. I don't. How spoilery can we? We can get. I mean.
Oh, I mean,
there's a lot of there's like
I wouldn't want to ruin it for anyone either.
Yeah, their first anime was probably Naruto, and they probably don't
here's
even
a spoiler. Don't watch Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh yeah.
Ever. No, I'm kidding. I own it. I mean, like I've only watched it once, and that was 30 years ago or so, and it was just like, I own it on DVD.
That's like for me, Wolf's Rain. Like it is a good anime, but that ending, I will not revisit it.
Oh my god. The Fireflies. Oh, remember there was just a little Asian store in my neighborhood, and we got those fruit drops in the steel tin, and we shook it up. It makes me cry. And we put a little water in it. Oh my god, no!
You're just thinking about that.
Yes.
And people are looking at you like, "What's wrong with
What's wrong with you?" Maybe the Fireflies. Leave them alone. Let them ride it out.
Well, mine is Ride Your Wave. I watched it once. I will never watch it again. It's such a good film, but I sobbed that like from halfway on. I sobbed the whole way to the end. My husband was like, "You want to watch the other?" I said, "No." I said, "That's a movie. That's a once in a lifetime kind of film for me."
You know what my favorite psychological drama, like kind of horror without any gore, but it's like very much more like a mental trip, watching somebody break down into a psychotic state, is Blood on the Tracks.
Oh man, that's
like
the
that
most
kid with the type of his mother
cover ever.
Talk about a good use of art, Eric. There's like pages with no dialogue.
Ooh,
they tell the story of the scene, and it's just like really, like you're experiencing this journey from this kid's eyes of what's going on, and it's just like, oh my god, somebody
get deceived by that first volume's cover. No, I've never read it, but I'm like, what everybody says, like this does not match the content.
I will say that you should watch Grave of the Fireflies at least once in your life. It's the anime version of Schindler's List. I mean, I've never had to watch Schindler's List a second time. I've never had to watch Grave of the Fireflies, again. But I was compelled to buy it on physical media, and it's on my shelf with the rest of my anime. Will I watch it? I don't think so. But it's that powerful. It's that good. It taught me that anime transcends cartoon, that there are levels of pathos and emotion and storytelling that you can hook into and express and share, and just this like, wow, this is not a cartoon. This is an amazing story. And so I mean, but like, Grave of the Fireflies, it's very sad, and everyone should watch it. Seriously.
Once.
Yeah, once. You might not. You like, why don't you make me watch that, Sully? Like, guys, we all do. It's your rite of passage.
It's like being in school and having Holocaust class. You're going to watch Schindler's List.
Oh, my God. Oh, the fruit drops.
I know.
Oh, man.
All right, so are you guys ready for your top 5? Eric, did you get your top 5 together?
I wrote it. I put it together. I did.
Oh, look at that.
Yes. And I was going to say ladies first. That wouldn't be a very male feminist of me to sound like. Make me a sandwich. All right.
No. Eric.
Just kidding. Goodness. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric O'Sullivan, a.k.a. Reverend Sully, and I have my own station where I talk about comic books every day for 30 minutes, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Daily. You are all invited. The live chat premiere is always hopping, and we have comic book shop style conversations daily. So come and check us out. It's at Geeky Chill Stream. And I have my executive producer is a Pikachu. And it's true. He makes me show notes for my show. So, and he's put together a top 5 list of anime people I want to have dinner with. I interpreted this my own way, and so 4 of the 5 of them would be, if all things were right, would be I'd ask these people out on a date. Why not? I mean, right, so at number 5, I want to. It's Sumeragi Lee Noriega of Mobile Suit Gundam 00. Although her real name is Lisa Kujo, and she was the tactical general of the Celestial Being team, and she's beautiful. I mean, and age appropriate. All of my choices are age appropriate. I just want to let you know.
All age appropriate. Don't jump on them.
Yes, please. Yeah, I'm into that. And but Sumeragi Lee Noriega, great character. She likes to drink. She likes to have a good time, and she likes to take care of business. And she's a leader. And what I like to balance my choices out with are their romantic lead in the show. And hers was someone named Billy Katagiri, who was someone she broke his heart on purpose. And by the end of the show, they have healed their relationship in their own way. And it's, for me, it's a really nice melodramatic moment of romance. And that's one of the reasons I love anime and I love manga. It has time to worry about your B stories and your melodrama and your romance notes. And so, and now she is at number 5. And at number 4, I've got Masato Katsuragi from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Yay. I love Katsuragi-san. She's beautiful. She's headstrong. And to also balance with her in show romantic lead, Kaji-san, she was just, it was just heartbreaking because it was all about the end of the world. And but she had this indomitable spirit, and she had 2 good sides. She liked to take care of business, but she also liked to cut loose. And that's kind of who I am too. And at number 3, speaking of Trigun, I voted for Millie Thompson. I love Millie. I love that big girl. I love Wolfwood. Wolfwood and Millie were a great combination, and they're very endearing to me. And but Millie is the thematic opposite of Faye Valentine in Cowboy Bebop. I would not want to have dinner with Faye Valentine. I don't think she would bore me. She's too much. But Millie, I could talk to. I could have a good conversation with. I love pudding, and and tell your family about me in your letter, and that I love her. At number 2 is Bulma Briefs of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super, all down the line. Bulma is a legitimate genius, and her daddy's rich. She's Mrs. Vegeta. I love Bulma. You could tell that Toriyama-san was literally in love with Bulma for the attention to detail he put into her in the early Dragon Ball manga, especially her cheesecake. Bulma was the cheesecake. I'm very grateful for that. She's so cute, but also she invented half that shit. I loved capsules. The capsule, what inventive technology in this made-up world, and it works. I mean, so Bulma Brief, I love you. I mean, I'm Team Vegeta, and but my number 1, my top 5 of who I like to have dinner with is Pikachu.
Yeah.
If I'm having dinner, I eat Pikachu all the time, and he's my best friend. I love him. He's my executive producer. He's electric.
Adorable.
And that's my top 5. Thank you so much for letting me share that.
Oh, I love that.
What about you?
Do we want to share images, Carrie?
we can.
Okay, I put my first one in the chat. Do you want me to go through all my 5, or you want me to do one at a time?
Yeah, we'll do all 5. So let's do
that. Okay,
that.
at once.
All right, let me get this one.
So I interpreted this prompt of who would I want to catch up with? Who has it been a while since I've hung out with, that I've talked to, that I've thought a lot about recently, and went with, okay, who's coming in the chaos of my family dinner time? I've actually asked my kids, who should I invite for dinner? So I thought of in that sense of I really want to catch up with these characters. I feel bad because I mainly went with mainstream shonen, because mainstream shonen, I know it gets a lot of flack, but honestly, I'm very thankful for it because that is how I got into anime. I have not seen Naruto, but Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon were my gateway into anime. And then when I finally consciously realized, oh, hey, this is anime. I think Kenshin was my. I did. It's under. It's in the
yeah,
private.
But it's you copied Eric's link.
Did I really copied it?
I was like, I'm pulling up Escaflowne.
Like, weird. I was like,
Escaflowne.
But
all right.
I was like, did I click the wrong
one? Oh, the mainstream, that was my gateway into anime. So I will always be thankful for it, despite how much flack it gets. And that, why did you do that image? Sorry.
Because Escaflowne is on the brain. Eric's put that in your head.
Okay. Correct image for my number 5 of who I would love to catch up with. It has been a good hot minute since I have talked to him, so to speak, or done anything with him online, I should say. I mean, hopefully that doesn't sound weird.
I love him.
Okay. Kitty Cat, I see your comment. I'll be right back. But I said Deku. I have not catch up with My Hero Academia at all, but I was really into My Hero Academia for a while. My kids really enjoyed it. It was sort of like our, till it got sort of darker. What's the guy that has the bird mask? I love his voice though. Mm-hmm. He has the perfect villain voice. I could listen to him talk all day. But yeah, I said Deku. I was like, I know Deku's going through some rough stuff recently in the anime. And I'm like, Deku, you need to come over for dinner. You need some people in your life that love on you and just remind you how sweet of a being you are, because he is a precious little being. And I hope for the best for him in the manga and the anime, because it's hard knowing how cheery he was in the beginning and hearing some of the things of how dark it's gotten and how much turmoil that he has. And I'm like, you need some happiness. So Deku's got to come over with my family, and we just got to love on him and see that sweet smile that he has, because again, he's a sweet little being. He's so precious. He's so precious.
That is a great arc he is in right now, because I've been also reading it in the manga, and it's like he's going through it in the comic books, what we call the arc where he's kind of like everything's opposing him, and he's got to find his strength and make a comeback.
Yeah, and that's what I need him to come back. I need him to come back and be the sweet little being that he is.
Aww.
Kitty Cat, I just want to say I tried to be a little unpredictable today, so I didn't say Hinata, but you guys know Hinata's my number 1, hands down. Nobody can top him. But I was like, everybody's gonna know I'm gonna do Hinata, so I did a different Haikyuu character, but we're just gonna pretend Hinata is included in that. Okay, so that's my spoiler alert.
So what's your next one?
Oh yes, okay. So continuing. Sorry about that, guys. Got all nostalgia thinking about Deku. I miss him. I really need to catch up.
This little boy to the strongest superhero in the world.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get Doc to read that. I told him it's like X-Men, but he won't read it.
I try to get
My Hero?
My Hero Academia.
I haven't started it yet either. Maybe I can be his gateway drug into.
There you go.
I think all the characters are amazing in that one.
Oh, I knew this one was coming.
I tried to go outside of my favorites and of that set anime, so I felt like I would be a little bit less predictable and not you guys like, Laura, you always say this. So I said Tanjiro, because he is also a precious little being, and he's amazing. I know that there's some people who are like, he doesn't grow at all in the anime, but I feel like his steadfastness and how he just does not give up is very, very admirable. And I keep seeing that scene with him, Nezuko, and is it the Mist Hashira, where like they have the whole little thing with their little heads, and I'm like, you guys are so cute. So I feel like Tanjiro and Nezuko, and we're just gonna say Rengoku's right up in there, guys, because that's one of my best boys right there. Gotta have him at the table. But I think it'd be fun to chat with Tanjiro just in general, because he's so sweet. I love Tanjiro. He's not my favorite out of Demon Slayer characters, but I do really, really like him. So I think he'd be another one to have at the table. That would be fun. Can you get Nezuko? I think my kids would love Nezuko, to be honest.
I love Nezuko in the box.
I do too.
All right.
Okay. I have two, and I need you to decide a number, 1 or 2, Carrie. You're going to decide.
2.
Okay. We're going with this one then. So I didn't want to do all guys because originally I had all guys as my picks. I had to do One Piece, and I didn't want to be predictable and do Ace. So
this is a good one.
Kitty Cat, that sounds so funny out of context. I want little beans for dinner. I do. I love the little beans. But Robin, I would love to chat with Robin. I think she would just I feel like she would just enjoy our chaos. I mean, if she can enjoy the chaos, with Luffy and the gang, she would be fine right here with us. I guess she's not a precious little bean, but it was between her and Vivi. I feel like they would just give all the details, would not eat all the food, and it would be no, sorry. I read H. Field's comic.
No, I was waiting for you to see that.
No, so I just found out the other day that Tanjiro, the voice actor of Tanjiro, he does, oh gosh, I can't remember that guy's name because I didn't like him when I first met him, but in Haikyuu, he has the Egyptian eyes with the white hair. He's on the Seagulls team. And I was like, that changes everything. No. I sound kind of ballistic. Yeah, a little bit, but not purposefully.
I love Robin, though. Robin's good.
I do. Her and Vivi are probably 2 of my favorite women in One Piece. I think Robin would just be fun to talk to, and since she reads book, I feel like I know she seems more historical stuff, but I think it'd be really entertaining and just fun to have her and talk with her. I feel like I didn't hype her up the same way I did Tanjiro and Deku, maybe because she's not the same precious little bean, but I had to have somebody for One Piece.
Human beings?
No, just cute little beans. I don't know. I blame Preston. He is a YouTuber, and he called his fans little beans. And after that, I was like, that is the coolest thing. I was like, I'm taking it for myself. And since then, I was like,
mine now.
Just steals my heart. They're just precious little beans. So, like, he's not a precious little bean. He's got bean status. So,
what you guys say? One Piece always has like the highly intelligent women. Like Robin is like super smart since she was a kid as a historian. You've got Nami with the whole, she's like a navigator and she self-taught herself to make maps and everything, and she's like,
and Nami makes me want to read One Piece. She's really hot.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're not the only one who feels that.
He likes them heads. She is, but she's also feisty.
Yeah. I almost said Nami, but I feel like she's too feisty for me, so I went with Robin.
Yeah, she would be too busy beating up for eating everything at the table.
Yeah. I feel like me and Robin would be much more compatible, even though it would be cool to have dinner with Nami. I feel like she would probably be more chill with Sanji and the gang, especially Sanji not being around. So, I don't know. I think Robin, she has a sweet side to her, too. I mean, Nami does, too, but I don't know. I was like, I like Robin. She's just cool. I don't have any pins of Robin though on my. No, I have one. I have one of her on my pin board. So I tried to get all the ladies that I could, except for Big Mom. And my husband's like, "You need to get a Big Mom pin." I was like, "I ain't getting no Big Mom pin on my board."
Why would you want a Big Mom pin?
There's one out there though, and then
I know there. I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
I like Robin. Did you have another one in here now?
I did. I think that one's sent. Hopefully. So I feel bad for this one. He is a precious being when you think about this anime. you know, I mean, I feel, well, I'll wait till it shows. She would steal my beans. Genos. He is so adorable.
Yes.
I mean, he's a hero, and he doesn't look adorable per se, but he is, because he is the definition of a true hero with all of these crazy heroes. I love him, but I feel bad. And my oldest was
He's
like,
also
Mom,
very
why
naive.
Yes. My oldest like, Mom, why would you invite Genos if he can't eat? And I'm like, well, I mean, he's a cyborg, but I'm like, he just needs to be around and have people and see that he's a great hero himself, even if he'll never measure up to his mentor. Like, that's part of what makes him so great too, is he's always striving to be better himself as a hero and just as a person. I was like, I love Janos. I was like, I need some One Punch Man. So he was, after I mentioned with Robin that he's one that I was like, I need to catch up, because One Punch Man, that was the anime that just my husband and I, we love so much. We laugh so much. I mean, when I think of One Punch Man, it is just such a great, the first season, it's just such a great viewing experience that was so fun. And it's the one manga currently that my husband is currently keeping up with. And and Genos, he has my heart. I don't do husbandos, but if I did, Genos would be one of them. I love him.
I just love how he's like the S-class hero, and he's completely like thinks that like Saitama is like above him, but Saitama couldn't even pass the written test.
I just want to say though, my list was not waifus, because my Pika is literally a pillow, so I don't want to go there with him.
Oh.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't want to shock him. Oh.
He's like, wait a minute. Why am I in the waifu list?
Well, you're a pillow, dude, by nature. You're stuck with fluff.
Oh, man. And
then number one.
Yes, for my last one, since I did do a spoiler, it has to be from Haikyuu. I was like, I cannot miss anybody. So I thought of who would be the most chill at my dinner table and would not go crazy. Omega, I've seen still half of Cyberpunk. I told Nick that I would try and watch the rest of it this weekend.
That was good.
But Daichi, I love Daichi. He is if I could choose 3 favorites, but from the Karasuno team, he is in my top 3. Hina is always number 1, but I really love Daichi, and I almost said spoiler for the manga, but I feel like just at any point that Daichi would always be welcome, and I'd be like, tell me. I feel bad. I'd be sort of using him like, Daichi, tell me everything that's going on with all of my favorite characters. Like, tell me what's going on with Hinata, Kageyama, the whole gang, and the things we don't see in the, like, give me the behind the scenes scoop. And I think he'd just be really fun with hanging out with my kids, and just to be a joy to talk to, because and he could bring Hinata along. That would be part of the game plan. I would assume in my brain, if he's coming for dinner, we're having all of Karasuno come for dinner. So that was my sort of way of diverting, where I chose a different character for a change. But those are my top 5. I'm sorry for gushing about my little beans, but I'm
a chef. I love beans, yo.
Yeah,
I love beans.
I don't know what I would do if I could really have dinner with all of them. I probably would just be a hot mess and cry, because I'm like, I love all of these characters so much. Aww. This is a really fun prompt to think about, and
it was a fun topic.
Yeah, imagine the chaos of inviting. It's like inviting characters in over for things with dinner. So,
all right, it's my turn.
All right, Carrie. Yes.
This first one is like a group package, but this is because I am enjoying the manga so much, and the whole group of them is just you need all of them in order to get the full effect at dinner.
Yep.
And that is the crew from Sakamoto Days.
Oh.
Because Mr. Sakamoto doesn't talk much. He just he's like your John Wick in the convenience store. He's very quiet. He only talks when it's necessary. But he'll make sure everything stays where it needs to be, and you can get some deals at the convenience store for dinner. His other 2 little sidekicks there, the little girl from the Triad and his former partner there, who's got the psychic abilities. They'd be hilarious to just like sit at the table with, because the 2 of them are bickering, but they have some type of attraction going on.
Who is so the pink hair
the
girl?
blonde and the pink hair girl.
Okay.
Vincent, well, he'd be too busy dealing with her, so he wouldn't have time to read everybody else's mind. And then you have the guy who's like right there in the middle, holding up like a sign on the shoulder. He is hilarious. He is just completely the guy who'll just keep everything going at the table and be fun. And then you have Mr. Serious all the way over there on the left, who would be just too busy watching the door, making sure nobody breaks in and tries to kill everybody.
That sounds like a good thing, like a handy to have him around.
Yeah, and you know, and Mr. Sakamoto's got the convenience store, so the food is there. You can get some deals.
That is
Japan
true.
convenience stores, you know, you can get like full dinners, and Sakamoto Days is great. You need to check it out. It's hilarious. Plus, the action sequences are great.
I need to see if my library has it. Well, it's on the Shonen Jump app too, isn't it?
Yes. I just love, like, he hasn't, since he's retired from the Yakuza and got married and had a kid and put on some weight, he hasn't missed a beat when it comes to, like, taking on the bad guys.
Awesome.
It is great. And I just love how he just took in the Triad Princess and the other guy and just kind of has them now working in the convenience store. It's great. I love that. All right. So, yeah, you have to have the full effect there.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, at number 4...
we have.
All right. We have from True Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Mr.
guy?
Shuho.
I like the shirt and I like the lip gloss.
He's
very
got the
Duran
whole
Duran.
Yeah, it's very Korean, South Korean soul.
Is
but he loves comic books.
Is he the main?
Yes, he
hero?
is the main character, and he meets the main girl in the comic book store, picking up comic books.
Yeah.
And he's completely not fazed by the fact that she thinks she's unattractive without her makeup and just wearing, you know, her jogging pants and sweatshirt to run to the comic book store. He is not bothered by that. She is trying to hide the fact that she is the other girl at school who does have all the makeup and is popular. He just likes the fact she's into comic books. So it would be great to have him at the table and just talk comic books.
Yeah. I need to catch up on that one because there's a lot of drama, but I genuinely want to see him and her get together at some point. I'm reading for this at this point.
I really like the K-drama even more because I think they do an even better job of him just accepting her for her before even, you know, not even caring about the other version of her. He likes the real her. He's attracted to the real her, and that's what's also great. And them sitting there together reading all like the shonen and the horror manga and the comic book store is just great.
Yeah.
So that is number 4. Next one up.
It's number 3.
Number 3 is so you had Genos.
Did you have him too?
I have Saitama himself. Because Saitama would just want to sit there, eat, and play video games with you. So it would be kind of fun to sit there and play video games.
That's a good point.
And can I throw something in here real quick?
Yes.
My friend, my in real life friend who I met through our YouTube channels and our live chats, and now I'm blessed to have a New England coterie of at least 10 people that we meet up for movies and supper or go to conventions together. His name's The Memes of Destruction, and he literally is doing Saitama's daily workout of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and I'm running for 6 miles or something. He's been doing it for 500 days. He has lost all of his soft body, and he is rock hard. I mean, he took Saitama's One Punch Man method, and he applied it to real life, and he has had real, tangible, physical results like you wouldn't believe. His name is The Memes of Destruction, and he actually puts a daily out about, well, here I am doing the push-ups here, and it's a time lapse, and he's running, but he does it every day.
Wow.
Just like this character.
That is crazy. I gotta
impressive.
check out his channel and see that.
Yeah.
That is very impressive, especially if you read the manga and see what he goes through.
That's what I'm saying.
He'll be able to soon jump and land on top of a skyscraper. But he's fun too because he's also laid back. I mean, he's a superhero because he wants to have fun. But when he's home, he's playing video games, he's reading manga, he's just, getting takeout and just having fun.
Yeah.
So that's where I would like to hang out with Saitama.
I almost was going to have him go with Genos for dinner, but I feel like Genos would be a different person if he was there. So
yes, because he'd be too busy asking all the questions about like how to become a better hero, and like I'd be like, "Excuse us, we're playing Mario Kart. Go back to where you are." All right, I know Laura knows my next one because he's always going to pop up. He is always going to pop up. But that is Captain Trafalgar Law from One Piece.
I can't believe he was a number one. I can't believe he was.
Number one is like a special number one that Eric is going to know. Okay, so it's not manga related, but it's going to be something Eric knows. But Trafalgar Law is highly intelligent. The guy self-taught himself to be a surgeon.
Wow, I didn't know he was self-taught.
Yeah, because I read the light novel online. Somebody translated it.
Okay,
he did intern with another doctor, but like he comes from a family of doctors. He's gone through a lot of tragedy. He's highly intelligent, like Robin. Sit there and have conversations about like his adventure at sea, and with the submarine going underwater with that, because everybody else has boats. He's got a submarine. That's pretty damn cool right there.
Yeah.
Plus, what's his name? Beepo. I love him. That's the second in command, the big white fluffy bear. Yeah. It's adorable. And he's also good to look at, Trafalgar Law, so.
What would you make for dinner? Since he doesn't like bread,
well,
right? Doesn't he hate bread?
No bread. He hates bread. So it would definitely be like fish related. It would be like a fish meal, maybe some rice. I don't think
stir fry some rice.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
I'd ask Eric for advice.
If you're going to avoid bread, avoid pasta because it's like it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe have some
I still want to know what the trauma is with the bread, though.
We'll find out one day.
Yeah, I know. We haven't found out yet why he hates bread.
It's just like the best story notes we don't find out at all, and that's where something as precious as headcanon comes from. Because headcanon's a precious commodity. We shouldn't be wasting it.
See, Oda is probably going to introduce it because that's what Oda does. Like he will revisit things you forgot about, like arcs ago, and everything he plants everything for a reason. Like there's I don't know if you read the latest chapter, Laura. They had gone deeper into the D because there's certain characters who have a middle initial D and it stands for something.
Spoiler, and I was like, I only saw the one spoiler with the one character, and I was like, this changes so much. I was like, what does this mean? I was like,
Oda would run circles, Eric, around the comic book writers we have in Marvel and DC because the guy knows how to world build. He knows how to build mystery. He knows how to build intrigue. It's just like you look at it and you think it's like some cartoony anime, but there's so much depth and so much story and so much ties to different things. It's really and like this character alone has one of the most tragic backstories in the whole.
Him and Robin.
You find out, but I think his was even on a whole other level because.
Granted, I'm not fully there, but from what I've seen,
what was done to his people over time is like. But yes, Trafalgar Law. Now, I thought I'd do something since Eric's on the show, and I know he's a big comic book fan. And he knows I like comic books. There's one character I love, even though the movies and the comic books now are not doing him any justice, but he is my number one guy and when it comes to comic books. And Eric, let me pull him up, and that would be Mr. Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier.
Ooh, really?
Looks with that.
I thought you were going to choose Vegeta.
Well, I like Vegeta too, but, I wanted to do a little tribute for comics since you're on.
Well, cool. Thank you. I mean, I like Bucky. I mean, he himself, he's like Steve. He's a man out of time. He's literally from the 40s, the 30s and 40s.
With a more tragic backstory.
Yeah. Oh, I always wanted to see his relationship with Natasha. early in the past, because she's been like, she has a longevity thing as well.
Brubaker did go into it with the
little bit, but
with the Bucky standalone.
It's like she recognized him. Like, I loved that. Why didn't they do that in the movie? Oh,
and you know what pissed me off was both actors thought it was going to go there, because when they were filming Winter Soldier, Scarlett Johansson was like, the two of them are a couple in the comic, right? And then Bucky kept, and Sebastian Stan kept going on about, like, I can't wait for my moments with, like, Natasha, and then they never did it.
Like, man, yeah, because her relationship was with Bruce,
which was
yeah.
I love y'all's reaction to that. That was gold. You both had the same kind of vibe on that. Like, you didn't even have to say anything, and I just got it.
It's comic book history, because that never happened in the comics, and those are two characters that would
right. Yeah, that's an MCU thing. MCU is notorious for doing its own thing from the get-go. Like, you know what I mean? So I can respect, basically. Listen, I just watched the Spider-Man movies, Homecoming and Far From Home, for the first time. And so I'm like, those are none of Peter's friends, but at least they stuck to the characters, though.
Yeah.
In a way. I was like, that's Flash Thompson. I dig that. So it's like, there is a robustness there that's like, it's so like Jarvis. That's a person. He's the butler of Avengers Mansion, not the AI.
But you get that later.
Suit.
You get that later in the Peggy Carter series, and then
really?
It comes back again in Endgame. Remember when he was in the 70s, he meets Jarvis at the limo, and that's when he was talking to his dad about being.
And you guys are so
good catch.
Oh, well, this is like the comic book nerd stuff.
I love Bucky, though. I mean, like that moment in Civil War. Do you remember killing my? I remember all of them.
Yes.
And just like that's fucking heartbreaking. Trauma. Oh my god, that was pathos. That was great. Turn the knife.
And then after that, they dropped the ball after Wakanda.
Yeah, I mean, the White Wolf and the Black Panther would have been fucking amazing. Dude, the White Wolf was a new thing.
I understood them aging him up in First Avenger, because it wasn't going to work to have like a 16-year-old kid running around on the battlefield assassinating people.
It works in the comic book, but not in a movie. You're right.
Yeah. It's like, and I like that they had like this best friend relationship since childhood better in that, because it made more sense in a movie standpoint than in a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
For a like 20-something-year-old guy to be friends with a 16-year-old kid.
Right. Exactly. Well, because that was the age of like kid sidekicks.
Yes.
He
was their answer to Robin. But it's, I love Bucky, but I kind of wish, and I feel bad for Sebastian Stan too, because they were building up so much in the MCU, and then after that whole scene where he appears at the end of Black Panther, they just kind of went, eh.
Imagine if he could have stopped being the Winter Soldier and became the White Wolf of Wakanda.
That would have been awesome. I'm still mad they didn't go with the Captain America route, because I did like Brubaker's run of him struggling with being Captain America, because he's like, I don't deserve this. I have murdered people. I've been, yes, I was brainwashed, but nobody's going to accept me as Captain America. And then Tony lying, saying, but this is what Steve wanted. Getting him to do it because he thought he owed it to Steve. And that whole struggle of him not wanting people to find out he's the one behind the mask, and then when it gets revealed by Osborn and he ends up going to jail.
And it was, I liked his outfit. That was designed by Alex Ross. I like that he had a sidearm. I mean, that's very that was his addition to being Cap. Was like, he was armed.
And he had like Falcon there with what's her name, Sharon, to kind of remind him, you're Cap now. You can't do what you did as Winter Soldier.
I'm pretty sure that it was like this Easter egg piece of dialogue that I remember when I was a kid, seeing some Falcon and Captain America. Captain America looks at Falcon and be like, "Can you carry me and fly at the same time?" And then Steve Epting and Brubaker do that again with Bucky, and he looks right at Sam and, "Can you fly and carry me at the same time?" It's the same piece, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool." That was some great stuff.
he is such a character you can do such like really great like espionage type comic books, but they don't do that with him now. Like Brubaker did it, and then after that they didn't know what to do with him in the comics. Then they gave him a cat that's his therapy cat, and then
he looks so cute though. I was like, I feel won over with the cat.
Aww.
Yeah, I do like the scene where he's escaping his house where they're all trying to kill him, and he's got the cat, and he's like throwing the cat in his jacket so the cat doesn't get shot.
Yeah, that's a good little thing. We like the preservation of life. It's a little cutesy, but that's fine. It works.
I would say, yeah, it does, especially like with you guys sharing his backstory. It makes him, I feel like, even more compelling as a character because he could just let his cat die, you know? Like, it's just,
exactly. He wouldn't.
It's just a cat, you know? But
Bucky wouldn't let his cat die.
Yeah, exactly.
We can say this stuff as like fans, be like, that character would not do this.
Right.
And then that's like, yeah, Bucky would not let his cat die. It was like the running gag.
Yeah.
But now they got him turning coat so he can infiltrate some bad guys, and he's gone Dr. Evil with the cat on his lap pet. And I'm like,
that's going to last about 6 more issues, and then it's going to go back to normal. And whoop-de-doo. I mean,
they could do so much where they could have him like trying to hunt down all the Hydra projects and finding other
I wanted to see, like I said, like the White Wolf. I mean, that's a new character. That's a new IP. That's a new direction for Bucky. And I'm just like, that's interesting. That interests me, especially with like being like a buddy to like Black Panther, White Wolf.
And it doesn't make sense for them to keep calling him Winter Soldier because of what that's
his old
represents.
Name. That's not him anymore.
Yeah, that was the code name from the bad guys that brainwashed him and made him kill innocent people.
Oh God, that was just so heart wrenching. Like, you know, I remember all of them.
Yeah,
that was just like
that was the best line.
That was like wow, that was it. That Civil War movie was great. I gotta say, like, I hadn't seen Homecoming Spider-Man or Far From Home. I really enjoyed the heck out of those 2 movies.
Yes.
Wow.
I kind of like how they did Spider-Man in Civil War too, because it was just like you had that like that
it was 15.
Peter giving the jabs and
he was quipping. Yeah, he had the mouth. That's my favorite part of Spider-Man. That's what he does.
So like Falcon's just like, do you know you're not supposed to talk during a fight? He goes, whoops, sorry.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh hey.
And then Cap saying to him as he's trying to hold the freaking thing up. He's like, "Where are you from, kid?" He's like, "Queens."
I love Bucky and Sam's relationship in those movies. Well, that was great. I hadn't seen the TV show though.
They have it still where like Bucky's the grumpy old man who's still disgruntled over everything, and it's him in therapy because that was the deal for them to kind of like, what is the term, to wash away his crimes, because technically it wasn't his crimes. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so in order to allow you back into society and to wipe clear of all these crimes, you have to go through like veterans therapy. So he's going to a VA and he's seeing this one female vet, like a psychiatrist, and she's not like taking his crap, which was great to see that, because he didn't. She's like, "Are you still having nightmares?" He's like, "No, everything's fine." And she's like, "Bucky." He's like, and he refuses to open up, and then he goes and he's like gets mad at Falcon because Falcon decides he doesn't want to be Cap and gives the shield to the Smithsonian.
Right.
So he confronts him on a mission. He's like, "What are you doing? You know, Steve gave that to you." And it was like for like a few episodes him being mad at Falcon not taking on the Cap mantle, which was, after a while you're like, okay, can we move on to something different? And him just being grumpy and angry all the time, and then he's got to deal with he breaks out Zemo, and he's got to deal with
I heard about that
Dodge
part.
Mahali.
Yeah, and he breaks out Zemo because they need them to like to get through the next step in the video game. But
they had him like Lethal Weapon, like he was the Matt Riggs to Falcon's Danny Glover character. And sometimes it was funny, and then there were other times where we were just like, okay.
Yeah.
he was kind of like there, like he imposed himself onto everything Falcon was doing.
I would like to say too, Sebastian Stan should be playing Luke Skywalker. And
yes, he does look just like a young.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's a great casting. Mark Hamill.
I heard Hamill retired from it.
Good for him.
He said he's not doing it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm like,
fine, good for him.
Because
he hasn't since 2019 anyway.
Do we really want Sebastian Stan though in the Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars?
It would be better than a face thingy.
True.
You know what I mean? I just the authenticity of the actor being in the role. It's like you're not playing Romeo. You're Romeo. You're not Romeo. You're playing Romeo. That's been going on for 500 years or so. That same role. It's like it's okay. I mean, let someone else play it.
True. Yeah, it's like Bond. You're always gonna have a new James Bond. I don't care if they killed him off in the last movie.
Yeah, huh? I did not see any of those Daniel Craig ones. What about you, Julie?
I did not.
Laura.
No, I have seen one James Bond movie, but it's been many, many years, and I don't remember anything about it except for I thought he was really cool. So I am completely out of touch. Anything that's outside of anime, unfortunately, and occasionally kid movies. So
I like Daniel Craig didn't do it for me.
I have to pick up Spy Family because that's also on the big. There's like 10 big name manga that I have not paid any attention to yet.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way: Spy Family is probably a good one to start with because it only is up to 9 volumes.
Ooh.
So if you go with One Piece, though, that's up to 102.
Okay, I do a daily comic book show, so I'm tuned into what the new release is. In One Piece's issue number 1063, I believe, releases on Wednesday.
Oh, wow. I know Oda did an announcement that he's going to be going on a 4-week hiatus because he's got to have surgery. I thought it funny. He's like, I want to have, what do you say, beams coming out of my eyes. Then he had Frankie shooting laser beams on the side.
You know, he is like such a good example of like what people in the comic book industry should represent because he is like always so grateful to his fans. He's always writing notes in like the mangas. Like he's always interacting with their questions. He does like a whole Stan Lee type thing, Eric, where fans send in questions and he replies to them in the back of the manga.
Yeah, and then the anime
letters columns. That's great.
Yeah. I love those. I said, and in the anime too, there was, I don't remember which arc it was, but during the outro, they actually featured kids' art that they have made of One Piece, like the crews walking through the hallway and up on the walls is like different art that had been submitted. I'm like, that is just so cool. I thought that was really, really neat. So.
He even answers the not so nice questions sometimes. Like there was one person who was just kind of like being mean about how he draws women. So it's like they were like, so exactly how do you draw women? And he goes, an upside down triangle, and then you put in a right side up triangle to create the waist and the curves, and then you
that's old school, like, you know, composition, like it works with the shoulders and hips, and you put the bust
but he was
somewhere
just saying
between,
that so
you know what I mean, like
because he knew what they were trying to say because they trying to say his drawings because he draws very curvy, busty women
with very small.
You've seen Nami, so
yeah, but I mean, it's. I think maybe there's a few women. I mean, the only person that's coming to mind is Big Mom. That's not, well, I mean, when she was younger, I think she had a very similar figure, but.
Yeah, when she was younger, when they go in the flashbacks, but like his women though are not like helpless damsels in distress either. No. Like they're kind of like Bulma. Like he's very inspired by Dragon Ball.
Never a damsel, exactly.
Right,
she's headstrong. She put her, you know. She got a capsule that just, I love the capsules. That was such great tech. And she invented half of that shit. Like, you know, her dad, you know, pretty much, you know, invented the thing of it. She's like, no, this is my capsules. Just like, oh, wow.
Well, it's like, and both of them come from like traumatic childhoods. So they both had to like Robin and Nami had to raise themselves to survive. So like Nami picked up being a thief in order to try to save her village by stealing stuff so she can get the money to pay off these bad pirates that took over her island.
Yeah.
Robin was on the run from the world government. So, but they're both very like strong-willed and intelligent, and that's the thing is like these people get mad because they see just how they're drawn, but they don't know the character. It's like Bulma.
Right.
It's like what Jessica Rabbit said: "Don't hate me because the way I'm drawn."
Yeah,
Jessica Rabbit. Who framed Roger Rabbit? I love that. Yeah.
But yeah, I love his little blurbs in the back answering everybody's questions.
Yeah,
and he'll answer people's questions about stuff he hasn't revealed. Like he revealed about like Zoro's family tree,
really?
And like in a recent, I don't think it's out here in America, but they had posted it online where he ties back to Wano. So it's like,
yeah. I mean, it'd be weird if Zoro didn't. Like, I mean, my husband and I were just talking about that the other day.
But they also explain how where he's from also connects to Wano, so it's really like like Oda's stuff is just also funny to read because he knows when somebody's being a jerk, so he comes back with these quirky responses in his, and then he'll give hints about things that haven't been revealed with characters. Like he went in about Law as a child with meeting Bebop and the other two.
Interesting.
But then he goes, I'm not going to tell you anymore. You're going to have to read the light novel.
Oh, gee, and we don't have that. I would love the One Piece spoof manga or gag manga that they have where they're like...
the one where they're like in school. Like that seems to be a common thing they do in manga with certain popular series because even Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan has them.
Yes, I'm a sucker for those. I ain't even gonna lie. So it's like I think that's too boring. I'm like, look, sign me up, hook, line, and sinker. Give me these characters as kids. I'm sold. That's all I need. They look even more like cute little beans. Perfect. Can't go wrong. And I'm like, nobody should be dying. So
I saw like a panel where Luffy is trying to force Law into eating bread, and they get into like a battle with food. and Luffy is throwing bread at Law, and Law's trying to duck it. And
oh my goodness, that would be so them.
It's like, stop with the bread.
Yeah.
You okay, Eric?
Yeah, totally.
But
hop around the room and do this, that, do that.
So that is like the top 5. So they got some really interesting like manga announcements. I know we're going to probably get a heck of a lot more this month because of the cons. Also, Super Mario Brothers. Keep it up. I cannot wait for Super Mario Brother Nintendo World in Orlando. They're going to have Zelda now too. Did you hear about that? Zelda's going to take over Poseidon's Adventure at Islands of Adventure.
No, the only Zelda thing I heard is I think it was Nintendo announced that somebody announced that they're very interested in doing a Zelda film after seeing how well the Mario Brothers.
Aren't they building a universe? Aren't they building a universe with the Super Mario Brothers movie? Like, well, you got Donkey
build a multiverse.
That's what I said. They're going to do like I think Donkey Kong and then
Zelda multiverse where you can have a race swap, gender swap Zelda and make everyone happy.
I mean, I need Linky to be Linky for me, and Zelda.
Laura's like, I'm not even going.
I am kidding.
I need them to be. I need them to be them.
Faithful to the.
Goodness, that'd be. I
can't. A faithful adaptation, please.
That's pretty much me.
I need just once.
That's all we want.
And I need them to get married.
That's all I want.
To be canon.
It's not hard.
A faithful adaptation, please.
I'm telling you,
they did it with Super Mario, so I'm hopeful.
I mean, oh my gosh. It's so sorry, Laura. My son and I were talking. He's like, Mom, of course they're together. There's only one bed. But I'm like, when you see the end scene, I'm like, Link doesn't act any romantic towards Zelda. And I'm like, there were so many missed opportunities. I was like,
well, excuse me, princess.
Yeah.
You know that one?
Somebody told me, they're like, Laura, you need to go play.
Yes, I remember that from the cartoon.
Did
you watch the cartoon, Laura?
No,
I did.
Okay, because that was a cartoon reference. That was Link. That was Link's like standby line. Like especially at the end of every episode when he got shown how smart she was. Well, excuse me, princess. That's like his line.
I was thinking about it because
talking the animated film.
This is the animated, like the daily cartoon. Yeah,
you do have a point there. I mean, I don't know how it would work, but seeing Linky and his amazingness, and he's gonna be so handsome. Oh well, yeah, and Twilight Princess, yeah, he does talk.
It's really good. It's actually like even Bo was saying, I can't believe like the detail of art in this, and then there's a bit of brutality too. But it's really good. Not too much brutality, but just enough to like
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I was like, I love Link. He would be one of my favorite characters. But I mean, I couldn't invite him to the dinner table because, like I said, I mean, unless Zelda's there, there's not going to be a conversation. No. Yeah, no. At least he would eat anything that you give him, though. I mean, what he ate. Well, I don't know if it was in Breath of Wild, but in Hyrule Warriors, he ate
better than inviting the Saiyans over from Dragon Ball. They'll eat everything.
Because they'll eat everything, especially Goku.
Yeah,
I love the food dives.
In the crew.
Seeing Vegeta and Goku eat makes me happy. I love those.
Yeah.
And then Gohan eating just the same way like his dad.
Replace those calories, just crushing food. And Gohan eats like that too.
I want that metabolism.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
I just want to know what they're going to do as the ride for Zelda. Because where they're putting it, I don't know if they're just going to like redo what's there, because that was that Poseidon's Fury where you just walk in and it was a show. I'm hoping it's a ride.
Yeah, I will. My husband and I eventually, that's like one of our bucket lists of wanting to take our kids there. And we're going to up that bucket list ASAP once it's ready. Like, yes.
Oh, I know.
You know what I'd like to see is like a Sonic the Hedgehog roller coaster that actually have gold rings that you could high five, and it makes a sound when you hit them.
But that's what's also cool about Super Nintendo World. They do have the things you can hit.
Yes, oh, that's right. And don't you get the watch too? And you can
watch. You go ding ding.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I heard like Harry Potter words like that with the wand.
I did. I went and did the wand thing throughout.
Cool.
It was so cool. You go up to the different windows and you can just it'll activate something inside the windows.
That's so fun. I don't even like Harry Potter, and I would do that.
I mean, I'm with you on that.
It's like you don't even. It's like so much fun. And then if you go into the wand shop, you get to watch this whole like if you remember the movie when they select the wand for the kids, they do the whole thing in there.
Oh wow!
All I remember is like the broom. I only made it to the third book.
Okay.
The fourth book, I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, that's how I felt with the fourth movie too, because the fourth movie was kind of like. It was good in the beginning and then at the end. Like some of the stuff in the middle, you're like,
I feel bad. I never read it because I tried it as a kid and I thought it was extremely boring. The first few pages.
Very wordy.
I have never gone back to Harry Potter because I was just like, kid me thought it was boring and I just haven't. I don't know. If I was like, if I want something magical fantasy, I got Lord of the Rings. I'm like, that's all I need. When it comes to that.
Well, now we have Mashal, which is like a parody because he has no magical abilities and he has to pretend he has magic, but he's kind of like Saitama from One Punch Man. He just worked out to the point where he's so strong it looks like he's using magic.
Oh my goodness. I need to try that. I need to try because I feel like would be something I would enjoy.
I read the first two and it was just like, oh, okay, it's kind of like a mashup of One Punch Man and Harry Potter, but I was like, I wasn't going to keep buying the volumes. I was like, I haven't watched the anime yet. I heard the anime is like pretty much to the book.
Mm-hmm.
I should try that.
Are you looking it up, Eric?
No, sorry. Pika was.
Oh, Pika was.
Where'd you put it, Pika? Oh, come on. You have all these tabs open. Well, come on. We're not fighting on camera. No.
But you know what? Maybe someday in the future, Universal here will bring in some of the anime stuff over that's really popular in America.
Yes.
Because like that Universal Studios over in Osaka, Japan.
He's happy to be hanging out with his people.
Yeah, that's right.
Love this anime
We love
stuff.
you too, Pikachu.
Animation stuff I heard about.
That's what they need. It's like a Pikachu thing at Universal Studios, like a Pokemon like tournament.
I'm surprised they don't. With how much...
Wait, they have all that land they bought, so they have room to expand. So they could. They can't do it in California because it's like smack in the middle of Los Angeles. But this, they have bought a whole land. They did like Disney World thing. They bought a whole land for this separate theme park.
Wow.
It's going to be crazy. They're going to have like How to Train Your Dragon. By the way, I'm not happy about that live action movie.
I saw you had shared it, but I was like, oh, I'm going to keep moving because I know I ain't going to like it. But I'm not a big live action person anyway. Like,
I'm at the point where it's like they're not even waiting years now to make like live action versions of cartoons. It's like we just finished the last cartoon movie like a year ago, and you're already going full in on the live action deal, just like with, was it Momoa from Disney? Even The Rock is going to reprise his role in the live action.
Really?
Yes.
Money.
I know it's not gonna be my money.
I know that's.
Give me something new.
Yeah.
Something new.
I do like.
Tired of this.
Whatever I keep seeing ads for it, but I'm blanking on the title. But it's coming out this summer. The one with the fire and the water. That looked pretty cool.
Oh, Elements.
Yes.
Because it's new. It's different.
Exactly.
They have another one too, Wish, which they're not really talking much about, and I wish they would because it's a whole new fairy tale story.
Oh no! Yeah, I haven't heard of that. You said it's called? Is it by Pixar?
No, it's Disney. It's going to be a combo of like their hand drawn art and some computer.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's good because I want the new original stuff to succeed.
Oh, is that?
A whole new princess. They have representation there. Interesting story plot.
Yeah, I've never.
It's like they haven't had anything really original since what? Like Momoa and Frozen. Well, they did have that one with the dragon, and that didn't do well because they didn't promote it well.
Was it Raya? Raya in the last
Yeah, Raya.
I never saw that one. For a second, I thought the girl from Wish. I thought she was the sister from, was it Encanto? Am I saying that right?
Oh, yeah, no.
The one with the flowers. I love Encanto. That movie captured my heart the first time I watched it. I didn't expect.
I just want like Hollywood to take more chances again. This is why I'm watching anime and watching like Korean dramas and watching like stuff from overseas because they're doing new interesting stuff. They're not rehashing, remaking, doing sequels, and it's like comic book world. You can continue on because it's a never-ending story, but
yeah, I mean, unless we're referring to the isekai, but
I know isekai is overdone.
It's
Eric
crazy.
will find that out when he.
It's wild. My husband loves it. Like he's like the more OP the character is, the better it is. And I'm like, you're the one person that I know that's the only person that is like loving.
I like the isekais that kind of take a different stand, like the one and this is the No Longer Allowed in Another World, where he's like he doesn't want to be there and he doesn't want to be the hero. He just wanted to go back and finish ending his life.
Yeah.
So he can
I will confess. Go ahead.
What was it? Like he wants to just ascend into heaven with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
But they're like, well, you're the chosen hero, and he's like,
Yeah. I would say I admit I love the villainous isekai genre. I don't care how similar it is. It needs one twist and that's it. But some of the recent ones I've checked out, like online, I haven't been absolutely loving. But I do notice that that's about the main isekai that I can handle.
I think I also like An Uncle from Another World, where the kid's got that uncle who's in a coma since he was like 18.
Yeah.
And then when he wakes up from the coma, he's like he's middle age, and then he tells the kid that he was in another world and he learned to become a mage and has all this power, and the kid's like, sure, uncle. And then suddenly he does something and the kid's like, oh my god, we're starting a YouTube channel. And they do a YouTube channel, and he could do all this thing like levitate, and he starts telling the story about his time in the other world.
Yeah. I need to try
and you find out he wasn't that great of a hero. He just accidentally like stumbled into the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are what I like. It's like when they try to do something different with the isekai. It's not the same old, I'm reborn as a villainess. Like, how many of those are there?
Yeah. Now I will say I'm getting to a point that I'm like, these all sound the same. I mean, some of them like the Heretical Last Boss, I really like that one because it's rare that the villainess or the woman turned villainess isn't out to save herself from the red flags. Like she's like, you got to take me out to keep everyone else safe, then you take me out. And so I'm like, well, I don't know of any other villainesses that have said that. So that one's, I feel like, more of a darker emotional one. But yeah, I feel like I've gotten a little bit spoiled in the sense of like not that the other ones are bad titles, but I'm like, but some of the other ones you really love, like some of the ones you mentioned for yourself, like Uncle from Another World, and the other one that like you really like those, and that sets a new bar for that genre. And so when you go to try more of them, you're like, this doesn't quite match up the same. So
I am laughing because Vincent's in the chat going, I did not realize these characters were 100 years old. And I had to stop and think going, which manga series did he talk about? And then I realized he was talking about the DC and Marvel characters. I was like,
listen. I thought Vincent had said, I thought he said a manga title, and I've been racking my brain. I was like, man,
it sounds like a Seven Seas manga title.
I was like, man, this is hitting a new kind of isekai. Like, they're almost 100.
I'm waiting for Eric to discover those Seven Seas titles in his local comic book store, going, oh my god, it takes up the whole front cover.
It so does.
I don't know if it's a translation thing, like they felt like we can't shorten it, we have to keep it this way once we translated it, but it's still kind of weird. It's like, I was born in another world, but now I'm living in this world where I am now a wizard who has to fight off the demons, but I'm not very good at using magic, and you're like,
it's so true though. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like, there was I think it was that Manga Mora that does all like the new releases and stuff, and somebody joked, I think it's like the one about the kid from the Boondocks. I mean, literally the whole thing, it's just title. She had to do 2 separate tweets for it because the title was so long. It took
so long. It went past the character limit.
So like,
oh my god.
What she was trying to say, they're like, that's a long title. That's a long title. Oh my goodness.
Thankfully, we don't have this problem in Western comics.
Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of what the what?
Oh, that was a movie, and I think she was a fan of Seven Seas. That was a way too long name, and I'm sitting here going, none of this is Birds of Prey. Why is Harley here? And why is Cassie some chubby kid with a broken arm? Again, we're jumping into something.
Why is Helena wearing a trash bag?
I know. This is what happens when you have people who don't respect the source material, try to make a movie out of it, and they're going, I'm going to make it my own. And you're like, no.
I bet Ewan McGregor tried hard with Black Mask, though. I mean, that's a juicy bad guy role.
Yeah. And they're probably like, no, Eth, we need you to tone it down. But turn up the gay.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, God. I'm hoping the new wave of DC movies does much better. That's a whole other topic, and we'll save that one for Thinking Critical's channel. But it's been fun.
Yes.
So does everybody have anything new coming up on their channel? What about you, Laura? We'll start with you.
I'm going to be doing my first video review from all the voting that happened, that people did, of what manga they wanted me to see. I'm going to be doing my video review for Snow White the Red Hair this upcoming Friday. I'm debating if I want to. I have 5 more volumes that are currently out, and I'll be caught up. And I'm debating: do I want to do the last 5 and review those 2, or do I just want to review the first 20? Because I loved where it stopped, or where I stopped last night. So I think it just sort of depends. I told my husband I would clean tomorrow. I wish I would have said Thursday because I wanted to read tomorrow. So, but I'll have the review up on Friday. Don't know how many volumes it's going to be. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
Nice. And Eric, I know you have your tabletop comic table videos, and what else you got coming up?
It's the coffee table, yes.
Coffee table, yes. Correct. I'm sorry, it's late at night. My coffee is worn off.
Well, because I pretend to have a coffee table in front of me because that's where my friends and I would congregate and we'd shoot the shit. And we were like, there'd be a stack of books, you know, a stack of games, a stack of music, a stack of music, and a stack of comic books, you know, and we'd always be trying to turn each other on to something new and what we're reading and stuff. That's what friends do, right? And so we talk about comic books every day at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Daily. And it's like half-hour free form, maybe a little ramble here and there. But we try to keep it low on the outrage, and because there's plenty of that out there. I mean, I just want to... I'm into why I love comic books and pop culture and things. I mean, gosh, I don't go into this stuff to be stressed out. And so that's like, and part of my mission is I love my local comic book shop, and we should be going there and spending our money there and not spending our money at the big box stores or our online supply chain for stuff like supplies. I need supplies, don't you? Well, why don't you just spend that money at your local comic book shop? They need your business. And it's a really nice community, and it's fun. And between Wes and Carrie and all the people that I've met over this, and they've helped get me over 1,000 subscribers on my little YouTube station. That's just my first 1,000. And what my executive producer says, how many do we want to subscribe, Pika? He says I got to catch them all.
I like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Gotta get them all. Yeah. I love last year when you did the every day you went into history.
Yeah, it was the golden age of DC Comics, 365 days, and it was a page-a-day book where you can literally open up to today's date, look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age, the golden age, read the blurb, and then talk about comic books. And it proved that we could talk about comic books every single day all year. And we can, it's not about keeping it positive or shunning outrage. It's not about that. It's just about, let's talk about comics, about what we love, and it's okay to get heated and it's okay to love it.
I hope one day, that's sort of like my low-key dream, to like one day get to that point with YouTube to be able to make videos every day.
I do a shoot day. I keep on top of it. And just like I shoot like 4 episodes one day, 3 the other day. That's my weekend. And I do it early in the morning because I need to get back to my life. I have a full-time job, and but hey, it's panning. It's working. I mean, I guess. I mean, I've yet to break the century mark for views, but that's around the corner. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried, I'm not worried about making content. I'm having conversations daily and just like proving that we can talk about comic books every day, and we're gonna for the rest of the year. It's so much fun, and everyone's invited.
That's what I tell people when they ask, like, what's the number one advice you would give to somebody starting a channel? And it's always like, you need to have fun yourself first. If you yourself are not having fun, you will not stick with your channel. Because if you're not happy where your views are, where your subscriber number is, you're not going to stick with it. But if you are enjoying it, you're, like I said, you're just like, I'm here for a conversation. I mean, obviously, we would appreciate the views and subscribers, and be sure to like Carrie's this live stream.
Exactly, like and subscribe.
I mean, of course,
like button.
Yeah, we appreciate
Smash.
that, but at the end of the day, hopefully, it's that we ourselves first enjoyed our video, our content, and then other people enjoy that content as well.
And it's interesting because Wes just did a video about like starting a YouTube channel. That was really good, and because like I went through a learning process because when I went into it, there was stuff I was covering, and I was like, I'm really not enjoying covering this stuff. I don't want to get into that whole like rage and complaining.
Oh,
I want
yeah.
to focus on stuff. So it was like I changed as I went along and decided, look, are you not happy with this in comic books? Here's some alternatives. So I started talking about indie comics and manga as alternatives, and it's been fun doing that.
I think that's
It's just
awesome.
sitting there. Yeah.
Honestly, I can definitely tell that you seem to enjoy it too. Not that you didn't, well, at least from a viewer's perspective, I didn't think you destroyed it, didn't like it. There we go. The words aren't coming. But I feel like, yeah, you're having like a lot more fun personally you for yourself and enjoying, because it seems like it's a struggle for you, like not in a bad way, but like the struggle in that you just by chance find yourself walking into the rage of the comic stuff going on.
I know.
You know,
it's like I somehow find it in my comment section on my Twitter.
It's not even a struggle you're making. It's like people are like, we want you to struggle, you know. So I'm glad that you're able to find that freedom for yourself of being creative in that kind of way. And you too, Eric. You know, doing the coffee table thing. I think that's a really cool aspect to bring. That you know, just recreating.
Pull up a chair, bring a cup of whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today, pal. Pre-recorded live from our Boston studios in front of a studio audience of our stuffed animals.
And a beach behind you that I keep looking at, and I'm like, I want to go to the beach.
Yeah, and I get this huge seat, and I just be like a weatherman. Use your background. You know what I mean? Use what you have, the space available to you. Exactly. Yeah. I love Carrie's background too.
I do too.
Yeah, I like your plates too, but you could use like a Tron or like maybe an Optimus Prime or a or maybe even like a tension hand with a chaozu.
Yeah,
I love them. I love them.
I mean, usually I film with my manga behind me. I'm one of those nerds that I rearrange my manga collection twice a week because I'm like, I want my manga titles to get all of them to get love and attention. You know, it's so funny because like when I do that, I'm like, the other day I was looking for a manga and I was like, okay, it's right here. And I'm like, I just rearranged yesterday. I'm like, where is it? So I'm like having to go through all the rows. And since a lot of the shoujo manga spines are all white, I'm like, where is it in this sea of white, and passing by it like 3 different times. So, but you know, fun fact, long time ago when I first started, I did BookTube. I wasn't even part of MangaTube. I'd film reviews about indie novels, and I used to have this very small bookshelf, and I would bring it in my bathroom. I take everything off, bring it in my bathroom because it had the best lighting after my kids went to bed, and I put everything on there, and I would film videos in my bathroom with my little mini bookshelf.
My bathroom had the best lighting too, because that's where I'd play Game Boy and play Tetris. Seriously, it was the old first Game Boy, and my bathroom had the best light. And it didn't have the illuminated screen. Right. It was just spinach green.
And that glare got right on there, and you can't see the screen. You're trying to move it.
I got 180 lines one time. My legs went numb.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, like the lid's down, and my pants are up, but I'm like, I can't move.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, since my work schedule is starting to stabilize, I'm going to start working on shorts, like Eric and I were talking about earlier. Cool. I'm also expanding because I'm going to start a Patreon, hopefully get all my videos down where I'm going to start looking at K-dramas and anime. I did a poll, and I wanted to do like a classic anime I haven't watched, and the winner was Yu Yu Hakusho. So I'm going to be reviewing that one. So that'll be coming soon. So stay tuned for that. But this Friday, on Indie Friday, I'm going to be interviewing an indie creator, which we're going to be recording tomorrow. So, and then next week I have another indie creator that Eric knows that will be. I'll just give you. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint.
Ah, really? Oh,
week.
you've actually could. And you've earned that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I might have to make more people to like watch my chat to remove people for that one, but
is it going to be
keep
live?
an eye on stuff?
Yeah.
That's cool.
What?
Well,
I'm
let
sorry,
it
Laura.
rip. Let it rip.
Yeah. Let it
Just
rip.
to see what happens and experience it and be like, okay. And learn, you know what I mean? Just be like, hey, that's fine.
It's called criticism, people.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, just awesome. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to spotlight more indie creators. There's a whole bunch of people. There's even some people who do like their own like American version of manga, and I'm trying to see if I can get them to come on. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
But thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes.
This was a great show. Eric, you're always welcome back.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on. And I'm glad I could help out too. You know what I mean? Seriously, like a lot of like the intrinsics. I'm a spiritual guy, Reverend Sully. And there's an intrinsic switch that humans make. And part of it is like, what's in it for me? That switches to, how can I help?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a human thing that we develop over maturity and time. And I'm glad to be able to help out and be part of your show tonight. And it's been so much fun, Laura. It's so great to meet you, and it's so good to talk about anime and manga too. Even I'm so out of the loop. I mean, like this. What a robust conversation.
You'll get back in. You got that list. Start working on it. Go to your LCS and go, where is this?
Love After World Domination.
Yes.
Yes, that's in the top of my list. I want to check that out.
And Spy Family, because it's only 9 volumes right now.
And Berserk.
This one's so different.
Berserk, that might be a little pricey with the books, but yeah.
I've seen those. No thanks.
Wait, there's going to be deals coming, so that one you might want to just wait for the hardcover sale at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you so very much.
No problem.
God bless. Namaste.
And I want to say thanks to the chat. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We will see you next Tuesday. For now, bye. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
See you later.